is rumoured to be eyeing the party's presidency are playing their cards close to their chests. Cyril Ramaphosa's term as ANC president ends in 2027, and with him unlikely to be seeking a third term, succession talks have already started. The ANC's fifth National General Council this week has once again been used as an unofficial barometer for aspiring candidates to see if they've got support from branches. Thabiso Goba takes a look.
Over the past couple of years, load shedding has been one of the biggest headaches for government and business. With load shedding events significantly reduced in the last 2 years, it's no surprise the man hired to do just that, Electricity Minister Kgosientsho Ramokgopa, is getting presidency shouts. However, speaking to media on the sidelines of the ANC NGC, Ramokgopa downplayed any presidential talks. This was the same case for Parliamentary Speaker Togo Didiza, who's been reported to have also thrown her hat in the ring.
Well, I've seen the interest, particularly from the members of the media, which is very intriguing, if I were to say the least, because all of us know the processes of the ANC and how the elective conferences are prepared for. And I just think we need to be patient and wait for that process.
Another rumoured presidential hopeful, ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula, also dismissed any claims that the NGC was being used for anything other than its intended purpose of reviewing the party's midterm performance. Thabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
Government says it has not abandoned the 17 South Africans who remain trapped in Russia after being lured there to fight in the country's war with Ukraine. It has been nearly 3 weeks since it emerged that the group was taken to Russia under false pretenses after being told they would be receiving security training. It's alleged that they were recruited by former MK Party Member of Parliament, Duduzile Zuma Sambudla. And speaking at a media briefing yesterday, Minister in the Presidency Khumbuzo Ntshavheni confirmed that South Africa is in talks with Russian authorities.
Those are matters that will be ventilated in court. You are aware there are people who have been arrested for taking people out of the country by the Hawks, and allow that process and the court process to take its course. What I can comment on is that we remain engaged with the Russian authorities to return the South Africans who are in Russia.
And renewed fighting has raged at the border of Cambodia and Thailand ahead of US President Donald Trump's planned phone call to the two nations' leaders. At least 15 people, including Thai soldiers and Cambodian civilians, have been killed in the reignited border conflict. More than 500,000 people, mostly in Thailand, have fled border areas near where jets, tanks and drones have waged battle. The Southeastern Asian nations dispute the colonial-era demarcation of their 800-kilometer frontier, where both sides claim historic temples. This week's clashes are the deadliest since 5 days of fighting in July that killed dozens before a shaky truce was agreed following intervention by Trump. Gold is trading at $4,216.82 an ounce. The rand is at 16.96 to the dollar, 22.68 to the pound, 19.83 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $62.14 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got some delays on the N3 North approaching the Baku interchange. There's also queuing traffic already on the R80 East approaching Eskom Pahlele Drive.
And in your sport, Arsenal remains unbeaten in the Champions League after a 3-0 win over Club Brugge, while Manchester City came from a goal down to beat Real Madrid 2-1. Bafana coach Hugo Broos lashes out at defender Mbekezele Mbukazi for tardy behaviour. Proteas women win the T20 series against Ireland 2-0 after the third T20 was rained out. The men play India in the second T20 this afternoon.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. Johannesburg starting at 14 degrees, peaking at 25. Pretoria 16 and 27 for the Inageng, 15, peaking at 27 degrees as well. The top story in EWN this hour: the head of the NPA's investigating unit has been asked to explain a reference listed on her CV that's been tainted at the Madlanga Commission.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Indeed it is. 6 minutes after 6 o'clock. Welcome to the show. My name is Bongani Bingwa. I'm not alone as always. I've got a list of colleagues, esteemed they are, behind the scenes helping put the show together. We've got the producers in charge this morning, Ropfiwa and Siamtanda. And if you're watching us on the YouTube stream, you'll see them coming in and out of the studio, handing pieces of paper, pointing fingers at me. Sometimes even a fist or two, hey? I'm joking. I kid you. Amandla.
I'll wait.
On celebration days. That's what the fist would be for. You're hearing there, of course, the voice of Amo Ramila here for traffic news and so much more. Good morning.
Morning, Bongani. Morning, 702 Landers.
We've got Muteo Haripe for business and so much more.
Morning, Bongs.
We've got Karabo. We've got KG. We've got Kabazela. All the Ks. We've got Adam Gilchrist coming up later. Cindy Paluta gives you the sport. And Sfisa Zulu, everything you need to know in the news. On our menu today, we're going to wrap up the ANC's National General Council. And as the party wraps up, have you been watching? Have you been interested? Is it your sense that this is their last chance? That if they don't get it right now, that's it, bye-bye, last chance saloon? Do you think there was real introspection and humility and a real focus on this renewal? How long have they been renewing? How many licenses have you renewed since they've been renewing? Renew!
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
What do you renew every year? There are those things you have to renew, man. Every year. Membership to a golf club. What else? Your driver's license. What else do you have to renew every now and again? Come, quickly, talk to me.
All sorts of subscriptions.
All sorts of
Change
subscriptions,
takes time.
right?
Change takes time.
How long has the ANC been renewing? How about to renew it, though? That's my point. They keep saying they're going to.
Turning the corner.
Since 2018, they've been renewing, hey? Do you get a sense that now they have? There are all sorts of names being thrown into what now is going to be a certain leadership contest. I don't think Paul Mashatile is a shoo-in as the next president of the Republic. I've been watching Toko Didiza, the Speaker of the National Assembly, being quite coy with journalists, saying, well, you know, my name is just being thrown by you journalists. You know the processes of the ANC. Gwede Mantashe is saying they're too old. He's too old to enter that race. Do they even have names in the pipeline? That's a question we must ask. What are your thoughts on 011-883-0702? And then a big story for us after 7 o'clock. Firstly, we're going to look at the city of Johannesburg. You know that condemned metro building in Braamfontein was called the Civic Centre, I think, at one point. So unsafe it is, staffers from the city may not use it. Now, the city has more than 4,000 guards on payroll. They've even outsourced others to protect the same building. They spend 16 million rand a month. So please explain why it is over the last 5 years, vandalism has cost the city upwards of or almost 200 million rand. Because, of course, the building has been left vacant and abandoned. And so what do vandals do? They move in and they start stripping all sorts of things like copper and other metals. And the cost is estimated to be clocking up towards 200 million rand. And yet they spend 16 million rand every month to safeguard that building. 4,000 security guards. Who stands to benefit? I saw a video. Helen Zilla went to the reservoir. Remember the one that Mayor Dada Morero told us would be working in no time? It's still surrounded by scaffolding. It's going to take 2 million rand to pay the contractor who stopped working. How much do you think the city of Joburg spends on water tankers? Yeah. But what did we hear yesterday? They're so poor because they're not corrupt, the comrades. And then you heard his name mentioned as simply the suspect. Witness D spoke at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. This was Marius van der Merwe, who was brutally murdered last week. He spoke of the suspect. This was somebody he and other members of the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department, on his own version, and security guards, dumped after this man was beaten and tortured. And he had a crisis of conscience and decided to to confess at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. He didn't say he was involved in the beating and the torture. He was just asked to help dispose of the body, he said. And so when he was killed quite brutally last week, we all rushed to say he was a hero, another fallen whistleblower. But spare a thought for the family of the suspect. He has a name. He is a father of 5. Emmanuel Mbenze. That's his name. The man whose body was dumped in a dam in Niger with his driver's license and car keys still in his pockets. The death certificate shows blunt force trauma as the reason for why he died. His family apparently sat in the gallery as witness D confessed to what happened. And they said, that's what happened. That's what happened. This man died in 2022. And they kept asking for answers and no one was giving it to them. So when witness D, now known as Marius van der Merwe, said what he said, they said, finally. And of course, I mean, you can imagine the re-traumatization. And so they've turned to AfriForum's prosecutions wing under Advocate Gerrie Nel to try and see if those who were responsible for his death might finally face the music. What does that tell you about our police and the NPA and all the systems we've put in place to deal with this kind of thing when it occurs? That these poor people have to turn to AfriForum, of all people, to assist them. Let's talk.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
13 minutes after 6 o'clock. Our shout out this morning is very simple. If you are part of a system from which you have benefited and that perhaps you continue to benefit, but you can see it is rotten to the core, it is no longer defensible, do you fix it from within whilst you continue to reap the benefits of what you consider a rotten system? Or do you step aside, risk it all, perhaps even lose it all, and try and fix it from the outside? It's a tough one, right? What do? Do you stay and fight within a corrupt system? And this could be work, this could be family, this could be your politics. Do you stay and change within your church? Or do you say, hang on, I'm okay with losing all the benefits, the social clout, the social position. I cannot be part of this thing any longer. And if it is going to be fixed, it's going to take people like me doing so, but doing so from outside. And that's what will give me credibility, because I will say, I was there. I know what I'm talking about. Or do you say, that's just too much of a risk? I will continue. I'm only one person. What can one person do? I'm only one. Muteo?
Logic says from within, but even that is quite tough, because if you are in a system that's very corrupt and has been doing that for a very long time, you might find yourself very isolated and lonely trying to change that from within. Or because you know the system, you could leave and garner other people to try and change the system from outside. So I'd probably do it from outside.
No one is going to trust you more having been an insider.
Yeah.
Right? With the inside scoop, with the inside perspective. No one's going to trust you more because you have been on the inside. Right?
Yeah.
Do you fight to change the system from outside or from within? Amo?
I think you start within, and then if all fails, then you distance yourself and you gather yourself and you fight it from outside. But I think fighting from outside might be more difficult because now you don't have the intel, you don't have the information from within.
But do you live with yourself, continuing to benefit from a system you think is rotten?
You're not really benefiting. You're trying to fix it inside.
But you still benefit. That's why you're in it.
By benefiting, you're getting paid for you doing your job. Basically, you're doing your job.
Remember, we're not talking about an employer. It could be,
or
it
church.
Could be an organization you belong to. It could be family. You benefit by being associated because not everybody on the outside knows what you know.
Yeah, so I do think
tough one.
Start within.
Start within and fight it from outside later, says Amo, sitting on the fence there, prettily on the fence. Let's talk. We'll explain why we're asking that question coming up.
Let's walk the talk.
7:02.
17 minutes after 6 o'clock. We'll also, of course, delve into those interviews for the next National Director of Public Prosecutions, those starting yesterday. I don't know if you watched it. I don't know what your impressions were, but I thought they made for really, really interesting watching. Right, viewing, that's the word I'm looking for. Yesterday, of course, a number of candidates being interviewed. Let's start with the prosecutor from the Western Cape, Advocate Nicolette Bell, urging all public prosecutors to go a compulsory lifestyle audit and thorough vetting. This was something that Advocate Nicolette Bell, no doubt, thought will obviously put her in good standing. Let's listen.
Do you think that all public prosecutors should go through lifestyle audit? Definitely, Minister. And somebody told me that don't forget to say about the vetting and the lifestyle audits. That is key. That is where you will see the red flags, Minister. So we fully support that should be happening.
Advocate Nicolette Bell, of course, one of the candidates being interviewed for that position of the next National Director of Public Prosecutions. The thing about lifestyle audits is the people who are involved in these shenanigans know how to hide their track, don't they? They know how to hide the trail of money. But she says, if you look at their lifestyles, that will be the red flag. Yesterday, of course, as you just heard in Eyewitness News, the other candidate was Advocate Andrea Johnson, who was questioned at some length about discrepancies that appeared in her CV.
Should we then conclude that your ability to pay attention to detail is a bit of an issue? Let me tell you why. Your CV is full of flaws. There's inconsistency between your CV and the form that we've sent you. Sure. And that is worrying for me. I just looked at it with this one. Check on the one on page 8. On page 8 as well. Correct. There's a problem there. The next page as well, let me just show you. The dates. Employment period is a problem as well. The next page as well. 6 February 2019 to date, a problem again. To date, yes. So you see what I'm raising.
There, of course, she's been questioned by the Justice Minister who's chairing that panel, Justice Minister Mamoloko Kubayi. You remember we spoke to her earlier in the week, and it appears there were all these little details in her CV that Advocate Andrea Johnson couldn't quite explain. At one point, there was a conversation about her membership of a union and why she had not relinquished that, having now become a senior member within the NPA. And finally, the other candidate was Advocate Adrian Mop, who is the Western Cape Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions. He had some views on the current NPA boss, Advocate Shamila Batoy, during his interview.
I raised with the issue of the perceptions of the NPA being captured in a public forum. Some of us have observed things, but we don't know the context, and so we cannot make definitive findings ourselves. And I said it's critically important that when you build a team, because she's coming from outside, she's had a view of us, those in the organization. If you want to build a team, then we must know who did what. People are afforded an opportunity to explain their conduct, and maybe they are able to give us rational explanations for what they have done. But at the perception level, we may be thinking, there are a few individuals. In my own view, I always thought there's 6 or 8 people who did things wrong in the organization at a distance. At the SMS conference I spoke about earlier, the one that we concluded, I think it was October, I again got up in the plenary and I said, the one thing we haven't done as an organization is we haven't amongst ourselves spoken about what state capture was and how it manifested in the organization. And I said it's a critical step that we have missed as an organization, because there's a very strong perception that the entire NPA was corrupt.
All right, that's, of course, the candidates being interviewed at least interviewed by the panel, looking to create that shortlist for the next National Director of Public Prosecutions. I can't wait for Advocate Menzi Simelane's interview, hey?
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Right, 21 minutes after 6 o'clock. Muteo Haripe, you've got a question of your own?
Yeah, I want to know this morning, do you go through with major decisions even when those around you are doubtful or say otherwise? So if you've made a big decision and they're like, I don't think you should have done that, do you say, I've already made it tough? Or do you walk back and say, look?
I think it depends on what it is. I think that there are times when you need to stop, take a pause and listen to those around you and what they have to say and their perspective.
Yeah.
Because especially if people you have confided in over a period have some insight into whatever decision you think you want to make.
Yeah, in the context, yeah.
Right? And so I think it is important to listen, because what's the point of being a confidant if that confidant can't sway you when you're about to make a mistake? But there are also times when you have to make a decision and say, even if it goes wrong, I can live with the circumstances. Based on what's in front of me now, I will live with the consequences. Yeah. I'll bite the bullet. So it's a bit of both, I think.
I'll tell you why I'm asking.
So curious.
702.
Weather.
23 after 6. Now, this EWN weather is brought to you by Samsung. Summer heat wave. Choose your perfect temperature with Samsung air conditioners. Temperatures in Joburg starting at 14 degrees, peaking at 25. 27 is your high in Pretoria and for Vereeniging, and it does seem that it's only a partly cloudy day for Gauteng today, so the rain is going to go away for a little bit. Cape Town peaks at 32, Bloemfontein 31, Gqeberha and East London 27. Your high in Durban is 25.
Just the season we've been waiting for. It's summer and the heat is on. It's time to make memories. The days are longer and the nights are warm. Skies are clear and the vibes are perfect. Make your home the coolest place to be this summer with Samsung air conditioners. Experience ultimate refreshment with your friends and family. Make every day a cooler, smarter summer. Shop at Samsung stores, online, or speak to your authorized installer.
EWN Traffic.
24 minutes after 6, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You can save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Amo?
Bongani, let's start off in the city of Tshwane. We've got some delays on the R80 East Mabopane Highway. This is between the R55 and SKM Pehlele Drive. While traveling on the N1 South towards the Flying Saucer Interchange, do expect some delays as you approach this turnoff due to peak time delays. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 South in the Midrand area approaching Olifantsfontein Road. Please be on the lookout there, and traffic lights are out of order in Calvin at Old Pretoria Road and Northway. They're also out of order in Melrose at the M1 North and Corlett Drive. More updates coming up. Do stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The roads just aren't the same without the Outsurance pointsman. Like a festive mince pie without the filling. But even the Outsurance pointsman needs some time off this festive season, so they'll be on leave from 12 December. But don't stress, they'll be back on the roads, easing the New Year traffic congestion from 9 January 2026. The Outsurance pointsman, getting you there quickly and safely for the past 20 years. In proud partnership with 702, show them some love online using #pointsmanlove. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Brush, stroke, paint, color, protect, and admire. From roof paint to exterior textures and interior silk, Warrior Paints has it all. The product range and stylish colors are amazing. And what's more, Warrior Paints has crushed prices for incredible savings. Enjoy that good old-fashioned personal service you deserve. For price, quality, variety and service, Warrior Paints is street ahead. Warrior Paints, affordable, lasting, luxury.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable. You receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. Our range of plans include cover for you, your spouse, children, and extended family. Plans include cover for civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Whether it's protection orders, gender-based violence, uncontested divorce, or poor service, your Clientele Legal lawyer will be there to assist you. Our services are convenient. Simply pick up the phone and call your lawyer or send us an email and we'll get back to you. All plans include a bail benefit of up to 5,000 Rand and we'll go to the police station and pay it for you. Plus, Clientele Legal offers you 24-hour telephonic legal advice. SMS legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
The Financial Sector Conduct Authority finally issuing fines of more than 2 billion rand on the trading platform Bankso. It's been found guilty of lying to clients, misappropriating funds, promising unrealistic returns.
Most of the consumers, they're looking for investments that yield a better return, that give a higher interest rate. So that's where we are gullible. Now, these scammers will take opportunity of such behavior.
Eunice Sabia is an independent financial trainer and coach.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show, Stephen Curtis, is brought to you by ABSA CIB. Invested in your story because your story matters. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
27 minutes after 6 o'clock, we've been reflecting on those interviews for the next National Director of Public Prosecutions. Can we spare a thought for what these candidates must go through? Your entire life is exposed. Your CV, what you earn, your record. Imagine being interviewed live on television. Your financial statements, your CV is out there, every little thing. Could you do it? Could you do it? I also want to know, have you ever disregarded a rule that you thought was silly at work and then paid the price? A 22-year-old Spanish office worker has been fired after repeatedly arriving at work, listen to this, Mateo, 40 minutes early. Early, not late, 40 minutes early. She kept arriving. And she was warned not to do this, not to clock before her official time. And the courts have agreed with the employers who fired her, saying not so much that she was on time, but that she kept repeatedly failed to follow the instructions she was being given.
Since when has that been a bad thing? Huh?
Adam Gilchrist will have that story in the World View. On this day in 2014, after a 9-hour operation, the world's first penis transplant ended successfully at Tygerberg Hospital in Cape Town. The 18-year-old victim had been left with a botched penis after a circumcision went wrong and caused gangrene. His fully functioning one came from a recently deceased person. And Monique, the actress, was born on this day. She's an American stand-up comic, actress, and talk show host, celebrated for her unfiltered humor and that powerful dramatic performance in that movie, Precious, for which she won an Academy Award. And I'll tell you why Monique matters coming up.
702.
The newspapers.
The newspapers. Fiso Zulu, what's grabbing your attention?
Good morning, Bongani. A story out of Norway where Venezuela's opposition leader, Maria Corina Machado, has emerged from hiding after a year. She's there to accept her Nobel Peace Prize.
She heard us yesterday.
She was listening.
Because
we don't know where she has been. Maybe she was in South Africa.
She was listening to 702. Oh, yeah, Yazzie Shane. You can collect my prize.
So she was invited and she was given her Nobel Peace Prize for fighting for democracy in Venezuela. She's been fighting, or basically fighting the President Nicolas Maduro, and saying that she wants the country to be peacefully transitioned from a dictatorship to democracy in the country. It's not clear if she's going to go back to her home country, considering everything that's happening there.
Remember, she said that she didn't deserve it, that Donald Trump did.
Yes.
You think she's going to hand it over?
She might. I don't know.
Okay. Swissa Zulu with the newspapers.
EWN Business.
Mutero wants to know, before any major decision, how much do you consult with the circle around you? And especially if they doubt what you want to do you steam ahead or do you take pause and listen to what those around you are saying? What prompts the question, Mutero?
Mr. Price is going into Europe. The retailer will acquire 100% of NKD Group GmbH for 10 billion rand. The company is an apparel and homeware retailer operating in Central and Eastern Europe. But shareholders showed Mr. Price exactly what they thought of that decision. Mr. Price lost 6 billion rand on the JSE yesterday as its shares dropped by more than 12% after the announcement, leaving its market valuation now at 49 billion rand. Analysts say the move shocked the market given the size of the transaction and the timing of it. Some analysts thinking they're paying way too much for this company. Currently, another South African retailer, Spar, reported major losses of 5 billion rand as it exited its businesses in Switzerland and Poland. So the timing of going to Europe, not really the best one at the moment. Mr. Price is asking for a little bit more faith, though, from shareholders, saying the acquisition will be good for business. The deal is expected to boost Mr. Price's annual revenue to approximately 53 billion rand and store numbers to over 5,000.
Although if it pays off, now would be a good time to buy those shares.
Yes, now would
If
be a
it
good
pays
time.
off.
If it pays off, it's a bit of a risk. It's a gamble.
Find out. Where's the rand?
The rand at this hour still looking good at 16 rand 97 against the dollar, 19 rand 84 against the euro, and at 22 rand 69 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $4,217 an ounce, or platinum is up more than 1% at $1,676. Brent crude at $62.22 a barrel. More business after 7.
No lights for hijacked buildings. Fisa Zulu, that's what you got?
That's right, Barney. Good morning. City Power has cut off illegal connections at a hijacked nurse's home in Hillbrow. This is part of the utility's operation to stop illicit activities on its network. City Power has established a unit to clamp down on hijacked buildings where illegal connections are rife. Jabuli Lembata has more.
City Power says one of the recommendations of the Usundiso Commission of Inquiry investigating the deadly fire of the hijacked building, which killed 77 people, was to help revitalize the city and remove illegal occupants in buildings. In response, City Power has embarked on a disconnection program. Yesterday, the power utility disconnected a mini substation connected to the Florence building and a hijacked nurse's home next to the Hillbrow Health Precinct. It is said the buildings have become a hotspot for illegal electricity connections, criminal activities, and environmental concerns. The other departments within the city also noted the dangers of live electric wires and sewage overflow, which also pose a risk to the lives of residents. Jabuli Lembata, Eyewitness News.
The South African National Parks has welcomed the 10-year sentence handed down to a Signal Hill robber in Cape Town. The man targeted runners and visitors in the area of Table Mountain National Park. He was arrested after he robbed a visitor in September. SANParks spokesperson JP Lowe says the man was found carrying a dangerous weapon in the park.
SAPS detectives working closely with the Table Mountain National Park Operations Room and Ranger teams meticulously pieced together evidence connecting the suspect to additional cases. Evidence compiled through ranger observations and statements proved critical during court proceedings, helping to link the suspect to additional cases and also to secure direct 10-year prison sentence.
And Venezuela's opposition leader Maria Corina Machado has emerged from hiding, making her first public appearance in almost a year after winning the Nobel Peace Prize. Machado, who won the Nobel for challenging Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro's grip on power, did not arrive in Norway in time for yesterday's prize ceremony, but she made it to the Norwegian capital hours later and went straight to see her family. Machado, who has been living in hiding in Venezuela, was last seen in public in January when she protested Maduro's inauguration for his third term. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures are at lows of 14 and 16 degrees, peaking at highs between 25 and 27.
And in the traffic, we've got delays in the city of Tshwane along the R80 East Mabopane Highway approaching Eskempahlele exit and traveling in Midrand. Peak time delays on the N1 South. This is between Samrand and Olifantsfontein Road.
The top story this hour, City Power has cut off illegal connections at a hijacked nurse's home in Hillbrow.
There's a new way to experience all your favorites. Pulse Africa, the 24/7 fast channel, now live on PrimeMediaPlus.com and the Prime Media Plus app, bringing you the best of Prime Media around the clock. Watch the biggest moments from 7:02. It's non-stop entertainment and authentic African storytelling, all from Africa's leading media network. Pulse Africa, only on the PrimeMediaPlus.com and Prime Media Plus app.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for pharmacies, convenience stores, beauty salons, and more. Corney?
Business Outsurance is definitely the best insurance for my business. Bowled out every other insurance house. Honestly, looking at what you need, my installment came down within a day. Definitely the most professional.
Switch to Business Outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Hey, sorry for the voice note, but listen, I was there. I saw the receipt. Like, literally, that thing was long. It was giving scroll vibes and everything. Chomi, with this new Discount Better Rewards card, you get 10% off instantly. But like instantly, on over 140 brands. So look, I don't want to be like dramatic or anything, but your Discount till slip never looked better. Okay, bye.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning, Bongani and the team. Nomonde from Blackpen. Regarding the ANC renewal, absolutely not. Hell no. South Africans, don't be deceived. ANC has done this renewal year in, year out, but South Africa is in a worse situation than it's ever been. All they care about is the stage where they show the whole world what they can do for them at the expense of you, South Africans. Don't be deceived. ANC are hooligans that are destroying this country piece by piece. They are part of the hooligan and all the other cartels. Don't be deceived. Hell no. Bye.
All right, let's listen to some of the ANC leaders in their own words. Firstly, the chairperson, Gwede Mantashe, discussing the future of the ANC's National Executive Committee.
ANC has not taken that decision. What is it? That is the decision in your head. There's dual membership. Every individual will take a decision, not the ANC NEC.
But that was not in the... No, Tando.
No, Tando. No, Miego Tando. Miega Bus. Tando. It is not the NEC's decision. It is my decision. What do I want to do with my membership? I'm a member of both parties, and I will have to decide which party I campaign for.
So who do you vote for in 2026?
I will vote for the ANC. I'm the national chairperson of the ANC.
The questions around this, of course, was whether or not people can stay part of the ANC and the SA Communist Party at the same time, and that was the answer Gwede Mantashe gave there. But one of the issues that has definitely popped up has been the issue of succession. This is now Fikile Mbalula, the ANC Secretary General, speaking on that leadership race, which is firmly, I think, on whether the leaders say so or not.
SGs vying for deputy president, I don't know about that. Whoever told you, I don't know. Many things have been said that president will be taken out in this NGC. There's no such. And I told you before that such a thing is a plot that is out there, but it will not see the light of day. Given the center we are driving in the organization, focusing the ANC, its membership, on the task at hand and the moment we are in. We don't have a luxury to gather in large numbers like in the NGC and only become a spectacle of infights and leadership. The issue of leadership will be discussed at the right time. It's not a topical issue in this General Council.
Read between the lines. Remember, the name Fikile Mbalula has been thrown around as a potential challenger to Paul Mashatile for the presidency. He says, what are you talking about? Where's this thing coming from that the SG is running for deputy president? No, there's no such. Did you hear what he said without saying? Where's this nonsense that I'm running for deputy president? Tabisa Koba, our EWN reporter, is going to take us through that National General Council.
EWN Sport.
Cindy Paluta is here with nothing but good news. And who am I to stand in your way? Good morning, Cindy.
Good morning, Bongani. And I'm sure you speak about the Arsenal game last night. They remain unbeaten in the Champions League after a 3-0 win over Club Brugge with 2 goals from Noni Madueke. He was also named player of the match.
I think the bare minimum I need to give to my team is threat. They need to give me the ball and think something can happen. and then trying to score and be as decisive as possible. I feel like that's the next level I need to get to in terms of being consistently decisive for my club and my country, and I think I can reach that level, just keep working every day.
PSG finished goals for the Athletic Club. Manchester City came from a goal down to beat Real Madrid 2-1 with a goal from O'Reilly and a penalty from Holland. Benfica beat Napoli 2-0. Newcastle held 2-2 by Bayer Leverkusen. Same result for Dortmund and Bodo Glimt. Juventus beat Pafos 2-0. Bafana coach Hugo Broos has warned Mbekezele Mbukazi against thinking he's a star after the defender arrived late for national camp. South Africa at the High Performance Centre in Pretoria before leaving for AFCON next week. Tolakele Mganga reports.
For a player who's known to do his talking on the pitch, Mbekezele Mbukazi unintentionally found himself thrust into the spotlight after it was revealed by Hugo Broos that he arrived a day late for Bafana Bafana's AFCON 2025 preparation camp. The defender was among 9 Orlando Pirates players who were given an additional 2 days off. That follows their Carling knockout final participation. But after travelling home to Durban, he missed his flight back to Johannesburg on Tuesday. Broos didn't hold back in his assessment of the 20-year-old's decision to join MLS side Chicago Fire.
Next year there is World Cup, that there will be other teams better for his career to go to, and not to Chicago. What is he going to do alone there in the big city like that?
Tolakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport, HPC Centre in Pretoria.
Proteas women 30-20 against Ireland was rained out. South Africa still wins the series 2-0. Later today, the men play India in the second T20 at 3:30. Live test cricket on the go in New Zealand, 265 for 8, a lead of 60 over the West Indies on day 2 of the second test match. Mitch Hay making 61 on test debut. In rugby, John Dobson naming 9 Springboks in his starting 15 for the Stormers Champions Cup clash with La Rochelle this weekend. And the Cheetahs take on Stade Francais in the Challenge Cup this weekend without 3 players. Victor Sekekete, Jaco van der Walt and Xander du Plessis are all returning home injured. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for general practitioners, dentists, surgeons, and other medical specialists. Kuveni.
It's so nice to know the business risk is taken care of by Business Outsurance. The call center is just a dream to deal with. Very seamless, easy experience, and it just feels like the people we're talking to on the other line understand our needs.
Switch to Business Outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
At Checkers, we do more so you get extra this Christmas. With festive savings like Speco long grain parboiled rice 2 kgs, 2 for 55 Rand. And House brand 2-ply white toilet rolls 24-pack for 129 Rand. Plus stand a chance to win your share of 7 million Rand in prizes. Simply buy any 3 qualifying products and swipe your extra savings card to enter. Valid until Sunday, only at Checkers Hyper. T&Cs apply.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Hello, Uncle Bongani. My name is Precious. I am 10 years old. I go to Samuel Mangala Primary School. And when I grow up, I want to be a CEO.
A CEO. I love it. I love it. Let's give you 10,000 Rand and see what you can do with it.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. It's 6:45. There are delays on the M2 East. Amo?
That's correct, Bongani. And this is between Heidelberg Road and Silver Street. So please be on the lookout if you're traveling along this route. About a 15-minute delay. So heading towards Germiston might be a bit problematic today. But try to use the R24 East into the Kilulis interchange. And then there's also slow-moving traffic along the N3 North approaching the Baklu interchange. This is due to the roadworks that are taking place along this route. Please be patient until the roadworks are completed. And if you're traveling towards the city of Tshwane, more delays due to roadworks approaching Olifantsfontein Road. So please approach with care. I'll have more updates for you. Do stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like the eager beaver driving to meet the woman of his dreams. Butterflies in his stomach, GPS on full volume. He checks his hair for the 7th time. Looking good. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic. It's a possible love story on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005. In proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Selling your car to We Buy Cars is easier than, well, most things actually. Ready for an offer? Complete the form on webuycars.co.za and you're already halfway there. The quickest, easiest way to sell by far. On the hunt for your next ride and your next adventure, We Buy Cars makes it simple to find your match among 12,000 vehicles or more. Whether buying or selling, visit We Buy Cars.
The crazy store's got deals galore and everything you need. From tinsel presents, wrapping, and a star for your Christmas tree. We've got all sorts of games and sports, many toys to buy. Stationery, arts and crafts, come on and don't be shy. No need to panic shop, we're your one-stop Christmas spot. Your table will be dressed and you will not be stressed. When Christmas Eve is here, you'll want to sing and cheer. I got everything at the crazy store and I can't wait for next year.
Hey, you never know what you might find this Christmas.
At Auto & General, we understand your business is built on more than just vehicles. It's your stock, tools and equipment, and the premises where you work. Auto & General Business Insurance is designed for businesses like yours, protecting your assets against fire, theft, storms, and other unexpected events. To protect your livelihood, visit autogen.co.za and get an obligation-free business insurance quote. Auto & General, never not there. Auto & General is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
We told you about the birthday of Monique, the Oscar award-winning actress. Let's listen to a 2020 interview she gave to Turn Out with T.S. Madison, speaking about her fallout with Hollywood. In it, Monique explains that she wasn't one of those actresses who was going to go along to get along, and that she had to fight a system that she saw as no longer serving her interests or those of other up-and-coming actresses. Have a listen.
I did a movie called Pressure. I signed up for that movie with my friend named Lee Daniels. He said it's paying $50,000. I said, let's do it, because it was an independent film, okay? When we did the contract, he said, you have 5% of the film. We're not looking for nothing. We know this is a small independent film. The film goes to Sundance, and it begins to get all of this praise. Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey get involved with Precious. Okay. They become executive producers. When it came time for the campaigning, and when it came time to go to different festivals and promote this movie, but you're really campaigning for the awards. Well, I was in a position, I had the Monique show, I was doing the Queens of Comedy tour, I had little babies, and my third husband. So what I was not gonna do was make Hollywood the priority. I've already done the movie. I don't need to campaign for you now to say, I want this trophy. I've done the movie, I've done my part.
There is Monique. She took on the system. She took on big names like Oprah Winfrey, Lee Daniels, Tyler Perry, because she thought, I'm not going to say nothing. I've done my part. Don't expect me to do more. We ask you the question, do you fight the system from within, or do you risk it all and take it on?
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Let's give away some cash, shall we? Today we're playing with Katu, who is 10 years old, wants to be a CEO later on in life. Katu, do you know what kind of business you want to be involved in? Katu, are you there? Hello, Katu. All right, we seem to have lost the connection with Katu. I tell you what, we will try and see if we can reconnect. Otherwise, we'll move Katu to tomorrow.
702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
Hey, Bongani and the team. The reason you will get fired for clocking in early is because if you have a clocking system and you are paid hourly based on the clocking system, it starts counting, which means you'll have to be paid more than what you agreed on. So getting to work early, it's not a problem, but don't go to the system and clock. Only clock when you are supposed to. Level, stop.
Well, coming up in the next hour, what's the question? And it's brought to you by Outsurance. Up to 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. All you need to do is send us an answer based on something that piqued your interest during the show, and for that you win 1,000 Rand. Simply WhatsApp us your name and the answer to 072 702 1702. Then later, someone else will ask a question to win 2,000 Rand. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance.
Current events, developing stories,
Tough questions.
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
Indeed it is. I tell you what, we'll play with little Katu tomorrow just to make sure we've got a good connection there. It's a little patchy at the moment, and it is always difficult when the little ones can't hear the question and then they get flustered and then it just kind of goes pear-shaped for them. So we'll make sure Katu is on a clearer line, and Katu then will be our last contestant for the Whiz Quiz for the year. Moving on then to this, the ANC wraps up its National General Council in Boksburg today. It was really a kind of mid-term, if you will, check-in, and I think many will suggest that it's turned into perhaps a moment of reckoning for the party, a kind of last chance saloon. This is the moment they either get it right or the slide will continue. For 4 days, delegates have been confronted with the ANC's own diagnosis of its performance, shrinking support, collapsing finances, deepening fractures inside the alliance. But, of course, the leadership contestation is fully underway, even though the leaders are trying to downplay that. President Ramaphosa opening the meeting, calling for renewal and trust. And I made the joke earlier that how long is this renewal going to take? Since President Ramaphosa first brought it up, what was it, 2018? How many driver's licenses have you renewed in that time? Thabiso Koba is our EWN reporter who's been watching all of that in Boksburg and joins us now on the line. Thabiso, thank you for your time. Just give us a sense perhaps of an overall picture that's emerged for you at this NGC.
Good morning, Bongani. I think I just want to start with renewal and, to borrow a phrase from the ANC KZN provincial convener, Jeff Hadebe. He said renewal is not a one-night stand. And that sort of been the message here from, from the ANC is that it's a process. It's a process, and that process, they're saying, we've been seeing it over quite some time. And I think one of the key things is the establishment of the SIU, the Special Investigating Units, which we know investigates matters that are proclaimed by the president. And one of the things that, as we see in the SIU, has investigated a lot of ANC people, Zizi Kodwa, even Oscar Mabuyane currently. So, that's the renewal that the ANC is talking about, in that, we are also investigating our own, but also the step aside.
Yeah.
But in terms of the overall picture, Bongani, as you said, that the NGC is sort of a midterm review, at least that's what its primary function is. And I've seen a lot of analysts, say that one thing the ANC is good at is the ANC is very good at diagnosis. They've for the first time ever at the NGC, they released the midterm review report in public. It's about 250 pages. It's very long, and it lays out the problems for the ANC in every structure, but also in every province.
Yeah.
In terms of the weak branches, the corruption by members, perception by the community, but it also speaks a lot about the treatment in terms of how the ANC can do that. And one of obviously the key things is that the ANC is the biggest party in the country, and improving service delivery is obviously one of the key ones, and they can't run away from that.
Look, I don't know if it's a big or a good boast to say that they are investigating even themselves. I think voters might say perhaps don't do anything worth investigating insofar as the shenanigans the party is often accused of in the public eye. We played a clip from one of your audio pieces yesterday where, of course, staffers were protesting outside of the NGC for unpaid salaries. That surely cannot be a good look.
I mean, it's something that has happened, over the past decade for a number of times. And the thing about these protests, Bongani, that you have to understand is that a lot of these staffers from the ANC, and these are people we interact with daily, these are admin staff, photographers, people who work in the media. So these are people who know us as media. And one of the things they always say is that when we protest, it's the last resort. So by the time they protest, they probably haven't had their salaries for 2 to 3 months. But it also speaks to a deeper problem around the ANC in terms of its financial standing. And there's one interesting thing for me, Bongani. Earlier this year, the IEC, the Electoral Commission, it releases summarized financial reports from every political party. And one of the interesting things from those financial reports is the membership fees, how much each party makes from membership fees and levies. Levies are the amount that the party charges to its elected representatives. So if you represent the ANC in council, legislature, or parliament, a portion of your salary goes back to the party. Now, the EFF, which is much smaller than the ANC, it makes more money from membership fees and levies than the ANC, which has about 4 or 5 times the number of membership and public representatives. But this is obviously, it goes back to the ANC not able to manage its finances. But what the ANC has told us is that they are a very big organization. And this is what Mahlengi Bengomotiri talked and said around obviously improving the ANC's financial standing.
Most certainly, our public employees are levied by the ANC and are levied reasonably so that they themselves can be able to feed their families. I always say that if the ANC was a corrupt party, not individuals, the ANC as an organization, if it was a corrupt party, we would not be poor. We would be tapping into the resources of the state as a governing party. So that's something to note. But I can say that for sure, we're focusing on building and strengthening our machinery, and we need resources to be able to do so.
All right, we've, of course, played some of those clips, so Tabisa, we won't play anymore. We played them before you came on. But essentially, one of the things that has popped up is this discussion around succession. Now, officially, of course, the NGC, as you say, the midterm review is not meant to discuss those sorts of things, but we have seen some of the names emerge. Togo Didiza possibly for top leadership. I don't know if I read too much between the lines in Fikile Mbalula's denial that, where did you hear this thing about the SG running for deputy president? And I thought, that's interesting, because, of course, his name had been mentioned as a potential contender for the top post.
Yes, 100%, Bongani. And 2 reasons why the NGC cannot run away from the succession talks. One, the NGC comes as a mid-term review. So it comes at the middle of the conference. As we know that there's less than 2 years until President Cyril Ramaphosa's term expires as the ANC president. And what we've heard from Ramaphosa's camp is that he has no intention of seeking a 3rd term. He's going to go out and live the rest of his life with his money. So then, obviously, there's a lot of people who are going to start campaigning. But also the second reason that the NGC cannot run away from succession talks is that there's about 1,800 delegates at the NGC, Bongani, and all these delegates come from different provinces. These are the same delegates that will also be voting in the ANC's upcoming elective conference. So obviously, there's not a lot of chances for a lot of ANC to speak to every delegate from all these provinces. And this is what this opportunity obviously does for them, is to just check to see how much support they do have in those different provinces and who they actually need to speak to and convince when the elective conference in 2027 actually comes up.
Did you read anything into his denial about contending for the deputy presidency?
I mean, what I read is that after he gave the midterm review reports, there was a very, very long standing ovation for Fikile Mbalula, like very, very long. And I think even he smiled at how much support he has on the ground. And I think that was much more of an indication of Mbalula's presidential hopes rather than him obviously denying it, which was obviously something that he was going to do. But it does look like he has a lot of support on the ground. And I mean, these rumors about Mbalula wanting to be the ANC president, they don't come from a vacuum. As the media, unfortunately, we don't make it up. We speak to people close to his camp. We speak to people that are obviously interested in him running. And
right.
I think that's where we are right now.
Thabiso Koba, AWN reporter. Did you watch the NGC? Did you have any interest in it at all? Do you think ANC last chance saloon, or do you think the slide will continue?
702
Coming up, the big interview.
Up next, we speak about the millions spent on that unsafe metro building by the city of Johannesburg, even as they spend millions more on security to protect it. And then, of course, we'll find out about the man who was dumped in a dam, by his own version, by his own account, by Marius van der Merwe and EMPD officials, allegedly.
This is EWN.
Andrea Johnson's NPA interview dominated by past mistakes, and some ANC members duck and dive succession talks. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. A decision made by NPA investigating Directorate Head Advocate Andrea Johnson almost 2 decades ago has come back to haunt her. Johnson was yesterday interviewed as one of 6 candidates vying for the position of National Director of Public Prosecutions. The panel brought up her involvement in an interview process for a job that her husband was shortlisted for in 2007. Khomotso Modise has more.
Out of the 281 public comments submitted on all the candidates contending for the job of NPA boss, 209 were about Advocate Andrea Johnson, and 208 of those were objections to her appointment. These were largely based on her involvement in the interview process for a job that her husband, Junaid Johnson, was shortlisted for in the Scorpions in 2007. This was first revealed recently before Parliament's ad hoc committee that's currently investigating alleged corruption in the country's criminal justice system.
This was an error of judgment. I'm not going to change it. I can't take it away. This panel will have to judge me on my entire performance, my history in the NPA, where I have faltered.
While some of the commissioners felt that Johnson was downplaying a gross irregularity, she's told the commission that in hindsight she realizes that she should have done differently. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
ANC members rumoured to be eyeing the party's presidency are keeping their cards close to their chests. Cyril Ramaphosa's term as ANC president ends in 2027, and with him unlikely to be seeking a third term, succession talks have already started. The ANC's 5th National General Council this week has once again been used as an unofficial barometer for aspiring candidates to see support from branches. Thabiso Goba takes a look.
Over the past couple of years, load shedding has been one of the biggest headaches for government and business. With load shedding events significantly reduced in the last 2 years, it's no surprise the man hired to do just that, Electricity Minister Josiento Ramokgopa, is getting presidency shouts. However, speaking to media on the sidelines of the ANC NGC, Ramokgopa downplayed any presidential talks. This was the same case for Parliamentary Speaker Togo Didiza, who's been reported to have also thrown her hat in the ring.
Well, I've seen the interest, particularly from the members of the media, which is very intriguing, if I were to say the least, because all of us know the processes of the ANC and how the elective conferences are prepared for. And I just think we need to be patient and wait for that process.
Another rumoured presidential hopeful, ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula, also dismissed any claims that the NGC was being used for anything other than its intended purpose of reviewing the party's midterm performance. Thabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
Government says it has not abandoned the 17 South Africans who remain trapped in Russia after being lured there to fight in the country's war with Ukraine. It has been nearly 3 weeks since it emerged that the group was taken to Russia under false pretenses after being told they would be receiving security training. It's alleged that they were recruited by former MK Party Member of Parliament Duduzile Zuma Sambudla. Speaking at a media briefing yesterday, Minister in the Presidency Khumbudzo Ntshavheni confirmed that South Africa is in talks with Russian authorities.
Those are matters that will be ventilated in court. You are aware there are people who have been arrested for taking people out of the country by the Hawks, and allow that process and the court process to take its course. What I can comment on is that we remain engaged with the Russian authorities to return the South Africans who are in Russia.
And Amnesty International has accused Hamas and other Palestinian armed groups for the first time of crimes against humanity during and after the October 7 attack that sparked the latest war in Gaza. Amnesty says that the mass killing of civilians on October 7th amounted to the crime against humanity of exterminating nation. The rights group has also accused Israel of committing genocide in its brutal bombing and other attacks in Gaza. Amnesty says that Hamas and other Palestinian armed groups in the Strip continue to commit violations and crimes under international law in their holding and mistreatment of hostages and withholding of bodies seized. Gold is trading at $4,216.82 an ounce. The rand is at 16.96 to the dollar, 22.68 to the pound, 19.83 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $62.14 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1 North between Malibongo Drive and Winnie Mandela Drive. There's also queuing traffic along the Malibongo Drive. In fact, in the Cosmos City area, an accident has been reported. It's right near Rivoli Road, and it's causing delays.
And in your sport, Manchester City shock Real Madrid 2-1 at the Bernabeu, while Arsenal's unbeaten run in the Champions League continues. Bafana's international players will only be released by their clubs on Monday, according to FIFA. Proteas women 30-20 with Ireland rained out, but they still won the series 2-0. While the men play India in a second T20 starting later this afternoon.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. Johannesburg is at a low of 14 degrees, peaking at 25. Pretoria 16 and 27. Vereeniging 15 and 27 degrees as well. The top story in EWN this hour. A decision made by NPA Investigating Directorate Head Advocate Andrea Johnson almost 2 decades ago has come back to haunt her.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
How well would you do? You are vying for a top job. You've had a long and, let's say, pretty good career. How well would you do if you were to be interviewed live on television in front of the whole country? All the major TV channels. You go to ENCA, you go to SABC, you go to Newsroom Africa. All of them focused on you. 702 is talking about your CV, your record. I mean, interviews can be tough. There are those questions that you don't...
Even if you know your job, even if you know you are vested in your career.
There's always a trick question.
Interviews are tough.
There's always that trick question that you think, I did 2 shakes of a duck's tail.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
You think, oh, I hope it went well.
Or sometimes you say something, but you're not really hearing yourself, right? Because you are so keen on answering and getting the whole thing done.
But there's also so many thoughts in your head coming all at once.
Just imagine your whole family seeing your salaries from back in the years.
And now you have to explain. You have to explain debits that go off your account.
Mm-hmm.
Something that may be simple. Or you made a mistake way back when.
Yeah.
And the whole country is talking about it and watching. Imagine if that's what we did for the president.
My thoughts exactly.
Right?
It's like you read my mind. Yeah.
Do you remember Thabo Mbeki saying, nobody interviewed me?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew I was qualified. I mean, he took the job.
Yeah.
Salah, right?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
We, of course, have had some conversations around the relationship between Pretoria and Washington. And I want you to hear discussions from Tuesday from the Senate Appropriations Subcommittee looking at trade, particularly South Africa's participation or ongoing role in AGOA. And I think it's worth pointing out that the discussions I'm going to play for you are between 2 Republican senators. So take it with a pinch of salt, if you will. Take it from whence it comes. But nonetheless, it is the Republican Party that controls the U.S. Senate. And I think it's worth hearing the position from within America, because so often the discussion is around Donald Trump and the lies he perpetuates and the lies he believes and the lobbying that has happened in Washington. But I want to tell you the relationship between Pretoria and Washington isn't precarious only because of Donald Trump. Yes, he's a huge part of it, but the Republican Party is singing from that same hymn sheet. So have a listen to the Senate Appropriations Subcommittee hearing. Senator John Kennedy, who is a senior Republican, pressing U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer on America's intentions regarding AGOA and, of course, South Africa. As I say, both gentlemen speaking here are Republicans.
What are we going to do about South Africa as part of AGOA?
You know, we've had some conversations with the South Africans when it comes to trade. And again, there are a lot of kind of foreign policy issues that I don't get into with South Africa. But when it comes to trade, they have a lot of barriers, you know, not just tariff, but non-tariff barriers, et cetera. We've made clear to the South Africans that if they ever want to have a better tariff situation with us, you know, they need to take care of these tariffs and non-tariff barriers. They're a real economy. They're a big economy, right? You know, they have an industrial base. They have an agricultural base. They should be buying things from the United States.
But if you extend AGOA for 1 year without reforming it, that's going to benefit South Africa, right?
It could. I would say we have a 30% reciprocal tariff on South Africa right now, which is much higher than the rest of the continent. So we'll control for it a little bit. But I think South Africa is a unique case. I agree with you.
They continue, of course, with John Kennedy pressing Jameson Greer on what he understands to be the relationship with South Africa.
Don't you think we ought to separate South Africa and AGOA?
I mean, I'm happy to consider that. Congress has come to me and said we want AGOA. And I think if we're going to have a giveaway, we need to figure out how to improve it. You know, if you think that we should give South Africa different treatment, I'm open to that because I think they are a unique problem.
Well, they're a unique problem for America.
Correct.
I mean, they're not. They're our enemy right now. I mean, they're buddies with all of our enemies, and they've been very critical of the United States.
That's exactly right, and that's why they're actually, you know, treated in a much different way.
Despite, of course, trade negotiations continuing between South Africa and the U.S. following those tariffs imposed by Washington. But I just thought that might give you a sense of what the Republicans at least are thinking. And I'm afraid the wind blowing our way isn't all that good.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings. 6 to 9 a.m.
13 after 7, what you need to know at this hour. Cabinet has approved a revised asylum and immigration policy. And essentially it says anybody coming here to try and apply for asylum must come here as a country of last resort. The essential approach is that any refugee or asylum seeker must go to the country immediately next to theirs before they eventually come to South Africa. And so that's essentially where Cabinet is looking at this. This updated white paper consolidates the Citizenship, Immigration and Refugees Acts into a single framework, and it incorporates a number of recommendations from Operation Vulindlela's visa reforms. Paleontologists have discovered nearly 18,000 dinosaur footprints and swim tracks in Bolivia, revealing how species moved along ancient coastlines. The site is the world's largest for preserved dinosaur swim trackways, and it shows evidence of walking, running, swimming, and tail-dragging behaviors from multiple dinosaur types. Police in Mpumalanga have arrested an undocumented Zimbabwean man found with 582 passports belonging to Malawian, Zimbabwean, and Mozambican nationals, alongside almost 150,000 rand cash hidden in a compartment. And essentially what these guys do, they run this ring where they collect people's passports and they go to the border to go get them stamped for cash without the holders ever themselves appearing before immigration officials. It really is quite unbelievable. The Department of Basic Education calling an urgent media briefing after reports of a breach surrounding the 2024 matric exams. The minister is set to give a briefing a little later on this morning. And it was on this day in 2006, Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You made history as the first ever ringtone to go I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. It has now spent a total of 19 weeks at the number one spot. It needs just one more. If it's still number one next week, it'll have spent 20 weeks and will then become the longest running number one on the Billboard Hot 100 in history. Of course, hot on its heels are Wham's Last Christmas, a song from the mid-80s, has now done the best chart position it ever has. It's at number 2, and of course, that old favorite, by Brenda Lee. Rockin' Round the Christmas Tree is at number 3. Do you have a favorite Christmas song or album? Let us know.
702. Up next,
The Big Interview.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Amo?
Bongani, we've got an accident in Centurion. It's on the N14 South. It happened right near after Euphus Road, rather. It's causing heavy delays, about a 15-minute hold up there. Please be on the lookout. And if you are traveling on the N1 South, still in the city of Tshwane, we've got another accident scene. It's reported right near Rigel Avenue. Delays coming out of Haasfontein Road, about a 20-minute hold up here. Please be patient on the route. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The roads just aren't the same without the Outsurance pointsman. Like the family reunion without that uncle who makes everyone laugh with his dad jokes. But even the Outsurance pointsman needs some time off. So they're going to be on leave from this Friday, the 12th of December, but back on the roads January 9, 2026. The Outsurance pointsman getting you there quickly and safely for the past 20 years. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
Let's start in the city of Johannesburg, where the security crisis is no longer just a budgeting problem. It's possibly a test of credibility. So listen to this. The city spends more than 16 million rand every month on outsourced private security, including over 1 million rand every month to guard the condemned Metro Centre, a building so unsafe even staff can't use it. So they've got more than 4,000 insourced security guards, a program that was launched in 2018. But the Metro Centre has cost the city almost 200 million rand as a result of break-ins, copper theft and vandalism over the last 5 years. But it's not just the Metro Centre. Over 105 municipal facilities are guarded by private firms. And so you have to ask the question, who stands to benefit from all of this? First up, let's talk to Shakes Chabalala, who is a DA councillor who raised some of these concerns via questions. Shakes, a very good morning to you and welcome to our program.
Good morning, Bongani and the listeners of Studio 2, and thank you very much for having us.
So the city has 4,000 of its own guards, what they call insourced guards, and yet still spends another 16 million rand on outside private firms. How did we get there?
In fact, Bongani, when we insourced about 4,000 security personnel, we had about 1,000 something on our payroll. So basically, we have about 5,000 personnel, but the city has decided, under the leadership of the ANC and its coalition partners, to go this route of outsourcing security personnel.
I mean, as I understand it, there's a Regulation 36 which allows then the city to operate under emergencies. And is this what is being used then to hire some of these firms?
Look, Bongani, it is unfortunate that some of the supply chain officials were pressurized, were forced to use the Regulation 36, even though there's no emergency at all. There's no security vacuum, there's no security agency, because we have about 5,000 personnel that is available at our disposal, that we should be guarding these facilities. But unfortunately, the city has decided, Bongani, to go the private route.
The Metro Centre is the old Civic Centre, am I correct?
That's correct.
The old Civic Centre in Bromfontein, so it was deemed structurally unsafe. There are guards who are meant to protect it, but over the last 5 years, there continue to be break-ins, copper theft, and all kinds of vandalism.
Bongani, it is unfortunate that this building or this property has been deemed to be unsafe, and it is because of the failures of the ANC to ensure that this property is maintained over the years, and that is what we are sitting with today. But what matters the most now is that on top of what we are spending on months to guard this facility, we continue to experience break-ins at this particular facility. And
despite the security guards being there?
despite the city guards being there that are supposed to be guarding this property for 24/7.
Gosh, appreciate your time. Shakes Chabalala there, the Democratic Alliance councillor on the line. And you can see the two layers of this thing, right? Firstly, they're procuring private services under an emergency regulation. And of course, if vandalism, theft, and break-ins continue, then they can say, look, it's an emergency. We can't afford for this thing to go to tender. And so we just have to give it to this guy or to that guy, right? Because if we wait, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And so they spend millions on private security. And whilst the city is also losing out on the millions due to the problems that are being created, despite that security being there. Makes you wonder, huh?
702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
On to this now. For 3 years, his family wondered what happened to Emmanuel. He was a 51-year-old father of 5 from Brakpan. And then details emerged at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. You remember when Witness D said he and other Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department police officers were forced to dump the body of the suspect in a dam? He was found a day later with his car keys and his driver's license still in his pocket. Marius van der Merwe, of course, was brutally murdered last week outside his family home, implicated himself in that evidence and spoke only of the suspect. But for the Mbenze family, they finally had answers to what had happened to their Emmanuel. And so they've approached AfriForum's private prosecutions unit to try and get answers from authorities whom they say have continued to look the other way. The communications for the unit is Barry Bateman, who's a familiar voice on this station. Barry, it's always a pleasure to chat to you. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, only a pleasure, Bongani. Good morning.
Talk to me about the details surrounding this case. The Mbenze family approached your unit after van der Merwe's testimony. What were their main concerns and why did they come to your office?
So van der Merwe testified on the morning of 14 November. And, just to give it back there, for 3 years, the Mbenze family has been asking first the SAPS and then IPID for answers on what's happening in the case. And they were simply told that arrests are imminent. Arrests they're coming. Things are happening. But that never happened. They had very little communication with IPID. Then on the morning of 14 November, an IPID investigator called Mr. Mbenze's brother and said, details are going to emerge. And they witnessed and they heard for the first time the details of how this man was tortured, murdered, and dumped in a dam. It was then clearly they were fed up that they got hold of our office. And 4 days later, on 18 November, we had our first consultation with the family and we took on the case. What they're asking for, and there's two things that we've written to IPID about. And the first is we want a comprehensive and detailed update on the status of the case. This story of things are happening, expect arrest soon is simply unacceptable for a family that has been yearning for answers. Secondly, we want to understand why the long delay in enrolling this matter. Mr. van der Merwe himself testified and he confirmed that he admitted to his role in torturing Mr. Mbenze. While he says he had no role in the murder, he does admit as well to dumping Mr. Mbenze's body in a dam. So you had a 204 witness who also did a pointing out. He testified himself that in early 2023 already, he took investigators and the police from the LCRC, the record center and the forensics, not only to the house, but to the dam where the body was dumped. So they had all of this evidence. But here we sit. The case is no further, and we demand an explanation for why that matter was not enrolled.
I'd imagine there are some questions to be raised here about IPID and delays and other authorities, as they've just pointed out, because after all this time, why would a case like this not be enrolled in court, and what might that mean for public trust?
You're absolutely right, Bongani. It's deeply concerning. And this aspect of having a 204 witness that was on the scene directly implicates other parties and implicates himself in this most heinous crime, and the police don't act immediately. I mean, there's a lot of talk about the safety of witnesses. Well, if the police or IPID had reacted soon, the matter would have been heard in a process within the criminal justice system. The accused, possibly the 204, would appear in court, and the court then, through the prosecutors and the court itself, would be empowered to exercise its authority in terms of the various legislation to ensure the safety of witnesses, of all parties related to the criminal proceedings. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. So we need to get an understanding of why this... Sorry, go for it.
No, I was going to say, what are the next steps? I mean, can the NPA still try and take this matter away from AfriForum's private prosecutions unit? What are the next steps?
Well, let's be clear here. We are representing the family to try and get answers from IPID. We are not close to the stage of proposing a private prosecution. This matter is still with IPID. The matter needs to be presented, or it might have already be presented to a prosecutor in order to enroll it so that the NPA can proceed with the case.
All right, appreciate your time. Barry Bateman, there's the communications manager for AfriForum's private prosecutions unit. What does it say to you that the Mbenza family ultimately had to turn to AfriForum to try and get the answers? But more importantly, as I think Ukoko Aubrey Majiku always points out, there are no heroes and villains in some of these stories, or at least I think his term is that there are sometimes angels with horns and devils with halos, because, of course, nobody deserves to be killed in the way that Marius van der Merwe was killed in front of his wife and children. But certainly, Emmanuel Mbenza did not deserve to be tortured and had his body dumped in a dam either.
EWN Traffic.
27 after 7, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by South African Airways. SAA now operates 2 flights a day to Gaborone with morning and afternoon departures. Book now at flysaa.com. Amo?
Bongani, that accident scene we spoke about earlier in the city of Tshwane Centurion is still on the road. It's been moved to the side of the road, so the delays have been cleared as a result. But if you're traveling on the N1 South, we still have got that accident right near Rigel Avenue, slowing down traffic from Linwood Road. Please be on the lookout there. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Check in, take your seat, stretch out, sip something special, and feel the holiday mood kick in long before you land. At South African Airways, every moment on board is designed to ease you into that holiday feeling. This summer, fly to Gaborone from 2,694 Rand, all-inclusive return with an allowance of 3 checked bags. You can take everything you need for the perfect escape. This offer is valid for sale until 31 March 2026. Book at flysaa.com or contact your nearest travel agent. At South African Airways, your holiday starts when your flight does.
EWN Business.
All right, we were talking about pizzas yesterday. Muteo Horipe, famous brands, now opening its first combined Steers and Debonairs pizza restaurant in Malaysia.
Yeah, South African brand looking for new markets. Fast food giant Famous Brands is taking a big step into Asia. The company is set to open its first combined Steers and Debonairs pizza restaurant in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. This marks the start of a long-term partnership with Mesra Retail and Cafe, a subsidiary of Petronas Bahad, which has exclusive rights to roll out these brands across Malaysia. Famous Brands is looking to grow its presence beyond South Africa amid mixed market conditions back here at home. It says Mesra brings local expertise and a strong presence, making it an ideal partner for this deal.
All right, let's talk about market news. What's Wall Street doing?
Well, it was the big expected number to come out of the U.S. The U.S. Fed on rates. Wall Street stocks rose and the dollar retreated a bit on Wednesday after the Federal Reserve cut interest rates again as it seeks to shore up a vulnerable U.S. labor market. The central bank's Federal Open Market Committee lowered its key overnight borrowing rate by a quarter percentage points, or 0.25%, to between 3.5% and 3.75%. Now, the rate cut was expected, but stocks had been under pressure in recent days, in part due to speculation that the Fed would combine Wednesday's interest rate cut with commentary suggesting a pause going further into 2026. But market watchers read Fed Chair Jerome Powell's emphasis on the job market in the U.S. during the press conference as a positive note going into 2026, saying the U.S. Fed is likely to cut rates going into the next year.
How's the rand looking?
Well, the rand has been in a good position at 16 rand 96 against the US dollar, 19 rand 83 against the euro, and at 22 rand 66 cents against the British pound. Price of gold $4,213 an ounce, while platinum is still quite positive as well as $1,660, while Brent crude is at $62.11 a barrel. More business after 8.
Straight to the news desk with Sfiso Zulu. This Eyewitness News is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 rand. Beware the scamsters. Sfiso Zulu.
That's right, Bongani. Good morning. The Gauteng Human Settlements Department has raised alarm over a growing syndicate. Scammers are demanding money from unsuspecting residents in exchange for RDP housing. The department says these scams appear to be on the rise ahead of the festive season. The fraudsters are said to have been offering residents non-existent ready houses, cheap land, and so-called jump the queue deals on property. Alfara Mushwana has the story.
The scammers have been impersonating officials from the Gauteng Human Settlements Department and offering subsidized housing in exchange for money. The department has urged residents to remain aware that it does not charge any fee for processing housing applications, providing land, or allocating RDP houses. Spokesperson Tahir Sima says the scammers have been contacting people through social media or phone calls and making a range of bogus offers.
Criminal syndicates behind fake land sales or house allocation notices will face legal consequences. If you occupy yourself illegally, you risk eviction and being criminally charged.
He says residents should avoid sharing their ID numbers, banking details, or sending money to unverified individuals. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
City Power has cut off illegal connections at a hijacked nurse's home in Hillbrow. This is part of the utility's operation to stop illicit activities on its network. City Power has established a unit to clamp down on hijacked buildings where illegal connections are rife. Jabuli Lembata reports.
City Power says one of the recommendations of the Usundiso Commission of Inquiry investigating the deadly fire of the hijacked building, which killed 77 people, was to help revitalize the city and remove illegal occupants in buildings. In response, City Power has embarked on a disconnection program. Yesterday, the power utility disconnected a mini substation connected to the Florence building and a hijacked nurse's home next to the Hillbrow Health Precinct. It is said the buildings have become a hotspot for illegal electricity connections, criminal activities, and environmental concerns. The other departments within the city also noted the dangers of live electric wires and sewage overflow, which also pose a risk to the lives of residents. Jabuli Lembata, Eyewitness News.
And Myanmar military airstrikes have killed more than 30 people at a hospital as the junta wages a declining offensive ahead of elections beginning this month. The junta has increased airstrikes year on year since the start of Myanmar's civil war after snatching power in a 2021 insurrection, ending a decade-long democratic experiment. The military has set polls starting December the 28th, touting the vote as an off-ramp to fighting, but rebels have pledged to block it from territory they control, which the junta is battling to claw back. The military jet bombed the General Hospital in western Rakhine state, bordering Bangladesh, last night. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures are at lows of 14 and 16 degrees, peaking at highs between 25 and 27.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1 South. This is in the city of Tshwane. That's due to an accident right near Rigel Avenue. At this particular moment, about a 20-minute delay coming out of Lenwood Road. Please try to use the N14 South towards areas like Centurion or even the R21 South towards Tembisa.
The top story this hour, the Gauteng Human Settlements Department has raised alarm about a growing criminal syndicate in the province.
This festive season, your budget may be tighter than your last gift wrapping paper. But Outsurance could have some awesome savings or cash for you. Get a quote today, and if Outsurance can't beat your car insurance premium, you can ask them for 500 Rand. Make it 1,500 Rand cash if you've been claim-free with the same insurer for 3 years. Savings or cash. SMS out to 45142. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
Clement Manyatela.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
What did you find bizarre and problematic about that kind of approach, where the ancestors, quote unquote, come back through the healers or sangoma and they say to you, oh, this is what they want, and they are so specific about the earthly things that they want, and they're coming from this different realm?
Yes, there's two ways to answer that. One is a historical thing, because a lot of the time you would be told that we have to do things in a particular way because this is how things were done back in the day. There's a sense that as Africans we have one past that has been around since the beginning of time. We haven't. There was a time we were different people having different beliefs, and our beliefs evolved.
Vusumzi Nglande, the author of Jenny Kwantu.
Clement Manyatela.
9 to 12 on 702.
At Checkers, we do more so you get extra this Christmas. With festive savings like Sally Williams chocolate and nougat products. Buy any two and save 25%. And Lindt Lindor chocolate balls, 200 grams for $139.99. Plus, stand a chance to win your share of 7 million rand in prizes. Simply buy any 3 qualifying products and swipe your extra savings card to enter. Valid until Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060. T&Cs apply.
Last December, you put in new floors. Come New Year's, your visitors were out the door. And the new floor went from fresh tiles to don't step on a crack or you'll break umama's back. Now, abantu bazotini when they see the kids playing the Squid Game's hopscotch on those same cracked tiles from last year. Avoid the embarrassment this festive. Make smarter decisions for your home. Visit Cash Build for quality tiles, adhesive and tools at the lowest prices. Cash Bill.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning, Bongani. Nah, man. Comment on the ANC's NGC. I don't think the ANC is going to renew anything. They've been saying they are going to renew since Cyril came in 2017. He's on his way out now. They are still trying to renew. And by the way, Gweda Mantashe is blaming the black middle class for betraying the ANC. I don't know if you guys saw that clip where he was speaking to the SAPC for the ANC's decline. So there's no renewal there. They are still blaming the voters for their decline. Sky and Gatlong, thanks.
Good morning, the breakfast team. With regards to the ANC, I don't see ANC in the next year's elections. I don't see them coming up. I think we'll see them dropping. Yeah, if possible, dropping below 30%.
Good morning, Bongani and the listeners and everybody. Darian here from Aldos. Well, you know what? Regards the ANC, if there's ever a party that has become proficient in own goal scoring, wow. And then the almighty Titanic. Almighty, 2 words, all right? Don't get confused. The almighty Titanic was also thought to be unsinkable. Long story short, right there. Take care. Have a great day, y'all.
We're talking about ANC and renewal, the NGC wrapping up today. Is this the last chance saloon? Can the party have honest introspection and self-reflection and make a real comeback? As Tabiso Koba, our EWN reporter, told us, Jeff Hadebe says renewal is not a one-night stand, but an ongoing process. Are you convinced? They've been trying to renew since 2018. Have they finally done it? Or were you so uninterested because you've seen this movie before?
Morning, Bongani. Bongani, the passport story, even people from Swaziland do it, Bongani. And Lesotho, I had 3 ladies in my car as an Uber driver. These 3 ladies were talking about getting someone to the passport to have it stamped, and I'm like, how people just talk about doing crime in prison like that. But anyway, so yeah, it's being done every day, bongs. It's nothing new. Even the officials at BMA, the BMA officials know it's being done. They're part of it. Corruption, and then we blame politicians.
Yeah, they would have to be a part of it, right? We're talking about a man who was arrested with a number of passports and almost 150,000 rand in cash. And what he was doing is he was going to the border to have all of these passports renewed without the holders themselves having to be there. So they pay a little fee for him to do it. And of course, it's all completely illegal. But the border management authority officials who control who comes in and out of the country would obviously have to be a part of it, wouldn't they?
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance, a chance for you to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. First, 1,000 Rand for the answer, and then a little later, 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask Outsurance for 500 Rand. Today's answer comes from, is it Abadel in Aldos? Abadel, please give us today's answer.
19 weeks.
19 weeks. And tell me, Abadel, have you received a quote from Outsurance?
I have.
You biscuit. You've won 1,000 Rand. All thanks to Outsurance and 702. All right, there you have it. Abadel says the answer is 19 weeks. What is the question? Call us if you know on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
Zinda Paluta, let's talk the world of sport.
Yes.
Yesterday, you and I had a conversation about Mo Salah and his issues with the coach at Liverpool. I saw an interesting interview with Thierry Henry, who basically says, look, whatever this guy has to say, you always, as a player, protect your team and you protect your coach. And he said there was a time when he was at Barcelona, and he said, not only, I wasn't even on the bench, they put me on the stands. And I still had to go, yay, Barcelona. Is it about sometimes a case of different eras, different situations?
And different humans and how they will react when pushed to a certain point, right? So we can say what is and what isn't right and what is wrong, etc. But everybody in a different situation behaves differently. And I would just imagine that the frustration that Mo Salah is currently going through must be a lot. I mean, you literally gave Liverpool a league last season. You're having a dip in form. You've been promised stuff in the summer, and now you're sitting on the bench. So I'm sure it brings out a side of people that we will never understand.
For anybody who's been off the planet, the Liverpool star spoke out quite openly against his coach the other day, and now we know he's probably never going to play for Liverpool ever.
So quite interestingly enough, the media is trying to get out of other coaches what they think without directly asking them. And somebody asked Pep Guardiola yesterday or the day before in a pre-match press conference something about players and how they feel, getting around it. And but you could hear the context was Mo Salah, and Pep basically said that at the end of the day, the coach has as much power as he gives himself. If players feel that they can, do what they want, then they've been allowed to feel that they have the power. The question was, do players have more power than coaches? And he said, your player only has as much power as you allow them to have. So you read between the lines.
Who's the boss?
Who is the boss? Right? But anyway, speaking of who is the boss, it's Arsenal, because they're top of the Champions League. They've beat Club Brugge 3-0 with 2 Madueke goals. They're unbeaten. Manchester City came from a goal down to beat Real Madrid 2-1 at the Bernabeu. Real coach Xabi Alonso.
It has been a very intense game. We know that we are going through mentally, we are not in a very solid situation, so that hurts when you get a setback. But we have shown pride in the second half. The start of the game was good, and we know that when you are punished, when you are not in your best momentum, it feels a little bit more difficult. The players, they are giving their best, so I'm confident that it will get better.
PSG finished goalless with Athletic. Benfica beat Napoli 2-0. Newcastle held 2-2 by Bayer Leverkusen. Same result for Dortmund and Bodo Glimt. Juventus beating Pafos 2-0. Bafanas in Pretoria preparing for AFCON without their overseas-based players, who only have to be released by their clubs on Monday, according to FIFA. Coach Hugo Brosh.
Last Monday, it was the releasing date for players, but for some or other reason, FIFA changed it to the 15th. I'm wondering what countries like Morocco and Cameroon and the Ivory Coast and Senegal and Mali, who have only players who play abroad, what they are going to do.
Proteas Women's 30-20 against Ireland was rained out. South Africa still wins the T20 series 2-0. Captain Laura Wolfart.
Yeah, disappointed not to get on today. I think we were really looking forward to playing at Benoni. Nice crowd that's come out as well. It's unfortunate, but very pleased with the series win. I think it's been a while since we've had a series win on home soil. So yeah, very excited and very pleased that we were able to start our campaign post-World Cup with a win.
The teams now play in ODI starting Saturday. Later today, the Proteas men play India in the second T20 at 3:30. Live Test cricket, the West Indies 32 for 2 in their second innings, trailing New Zealand by 41 on day 2 of the second Test. Earlier, New Zealand 278 all out, Hay making 61 on Test debut. In Champions Cup rugby, coach John Dobson named 9 Springboks in his Stormers side to battle La Rochelle.
Yeah, as close to as I think you're probably ever going to get. I don't think you're ever going to get your top 23 involved. Again, like to have Damien out there. More precaution, cheaper as I can't complain. Yeah, it's where we've been working for a while to sort of create this sort of depth, but also been looking forward to this day when we can show off some of these, team of this quality.
The Cheetahs won't have Sekekete, Van der Walt and Duplessis for their Challenge Cup game with Stade Francais. They're all injured. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
14 to 8, this EWN Traffic brought to you by Amo Ramila.
Well, Bongani, we've got delays on the N1 South. This is between Linwood Road and Rigel Avenue. About a 20-minute hold up there. That's due to that major accident scene. So please be on the lookout there. At this particular moment, you've got the N14 South heading towards Centurion or even Midrand to try and use, as well as the R21 South. Otherwise, traveling on the N1 South in the Midrand area, delays approaching Olifantsfontein Road. Peak time delays there. There's also peak time pressure along the M2 East between Heidelberg Road and Reuven Road. There's also slow-moving traffic along the N3 North approaching the Kilulis interchange, as well as on the N1 North towards the Diepkloof turn off. Please be on the lookout there. More updates coming up. Do stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. 702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to our turns. Please tell me, what's the question? If the answer is 19 weeks, let's go to... Who do we have on the line? Let's go to Mpumi in Diepkloof. Mpumi, no, that line is... there you go. Mpumi in Diepkloof, what's the question?
The question is, how long is Mariah Carey's single All I Want for Christmas been playing on the charts?
No, that's not how long it's been playing on the charts. No, Mpumi, that's not the question. Let's try Juliet in Alberton. Juliet, what's the question?
The question is, since it's returned to the charts, how many weeks has Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas been at the top?
No, not since it's returned to the charts, Juliet.
Okay. How many weeks has Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas been at the top of the charts in 2025?
No! Why do you keep adding? Juliet keeps adding. Ernest, you're in Santon. What's the question?
Morning, Bongani. The question is, how long has Mariah Carey's hit song All I Want for Christmas Is You been number one on the Billboard 100?
That's it!
Yeah.
You must remember, it was part of a Christmas album released in 1994, and it returns every year, which is how it has stacked up the 19 weeks, because every year it's everyone's favorite Christmas song. But it's under pressure this year. Wham's Last for Christmas is back in business. The highest chart position it's ever received at number 2. Hey? I miss George Michael. Ernest, I miss George Michael.
Oh, yeah.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart.
But the very next day, you gave it away. Ernest, how's 2,000 Rand in cash? All thanks to Outsurance in 702.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
We're giving it to someone special. Ernest there in Santon getting it right. The other song, of course, hot on the heels of Mariah Carey, is an old favorite. Brenda Lee. Rocking around Christmas tree.
Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop. Mistletoe hung where you can see every couple tries to stop. Rocking around.
So those are the songs 3, 2, and 1 at the moment. Brenda Lee's at 3, this one that you're hearing. Wham's Last Christmas has finally got to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. That was a song released in 1984, I think it was. And of course, Mariah Carey, the Queen of Christmas, at number one at the moment. If she's there next week, she will officially have the longest running number one in US chart history. What's your favorite Christmas song or Christmas album? I'm not talking about carols. Just, you have a favorite Christmas album?
I'm getting ready to sing.
No, just tell us. Which one is your favorite Christmas album or song?
It's actually on this very album, Mariah Carey's album, Oh Holy Night. It's my favorite. Yeah.
I play the Whitney Houston Christmas album every year,
Mhm.
but I'm only allowed to play it when the tree is up.
Yes, even me at my house when the tree's up.
Only when
and
the tree's
lights
up.
are up, because I need to take a video afterwards.
Michael Bublé has a Christmas album. Natalie Cole has a Christmas album. Even Luther had a Christmas album. Do you have a favorite Christmas album? Let us know which one
Good morning,
it is.
Bongani and team. My favorite Christmas song is by Luther Pedros. Yeah, very, very beautiful song. Nicely written, nicely produced.
Come on now.
This is Papa from Tepisa. Have a great day.
Oh man, listen to that tone.
Could do this to me. I've waited and waited for someone I never see, but I'm so sentimental and I'm so hopeful you'll be here. So here I am every year, every Christmas.
Oh man, KG, you just made my day. Clar.
You could spend 10 minutes hunting for the TV remote or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. SMS out to 45142. Like 29-year-old Sana, who now pays an incredibly low 796 Rand a month for her 2025 Jetour Dashing. With Outsurance Comprehensive, you get 24/7 roadside assistance in case you break down, run out of petrol, lock your keys in the car, and more. SMS out to 45142. Get used to getting more. After switching, 65-year-old Helena now pays only 398 Rand a month for her 2025 Hyundai Exter. Not an Outsurance client yet? Get a quick and easy quote today. If Outsurance can't beat what you're paying, ask them for 500 Rand. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Savings or cash, you have nothing to lose. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online. Limits apply.
Sending your car to We Buy Cars is easier than, well, most things actually. Ready for an offer? Complete the form on webuycars.co.za and you're already halfway there. The quickest, easiest way to sell by far. On the hunt for your next ride and your next adventure? We Buy Cars makes it simple to find your match among over 12,000 vehicles. Whether buying or selling, visit We Buy Cars.
Last December, you put in new floors. Come New Year's, your visitors were out the door. And the new floor went from fresh tiles to don't step on a crack or you'll break umama's back. Now, abantu bazothini when they see the kids playing the Squid Game's hopscotch on those same cracked tiles from last year? Avoid the embarrassment this festive. Make smarter decisions for your home. Visit Cash Build for quality tiles, adhesive and tools at the lowest prices. Cash Build.
LLB graduates can fast-track their legal career with the Law Society of South Africa's PVT School for Legal Practice. LPC accredited, this 4-month practice-ready course, which is taught by practicing lawyers, can reduce your PVT contract by 12 months for admission. Study by day, after hours, or via distance at campuses nationwide. The first 2026 intake runs from January to April. Applications close 31 October 2025. Apply now at lssalead.org.za. That's lssalead.org.za.
702.
What's gone viral?
With Kabazela.
Catch up now with the world of viral content. Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Belle.
Ooh, your first video is really going to get a lot of people hot and bothered, I guess. Man on the Run. I'll let you tell it.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a very interesting video. So the guy who's driving this car, I mean, you've got to give him these flowers for the way he videoed what was going on in front of him. But he's driving along, and the next minute you see a guy on one of those delivery bikes speeding. Behind him is a white bakkie. And then behind the white bakkie is an Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police vehicle that's chasing. So you think, oh, okay, so they're obviously going after the white bakkie. But then you look carefully and you see that there's blue lights on the white bakkie. So it's probably an undercover or unmarked police car. And then he gets in front of the delivery bike rider and then slows him down. And the delivery bike driver then kind of, comes to a stop, but hits the back of this bakkie and the bike drops. And the guy who is driving the marked Ekurhuleni Metro Police vehicle gets out the car. But before he can even get close to this guy on the bike, he is up. He takes his helmet off, his cell phone drops, and he bolts. He runs up this one street and he's gone. Nowhere to be found. And then the video ends. So I don't know what happened, if they managed to track him down or arrest him, or even what they were chasing him for. But really, really bizarre. But I mean, if you think about some of the stuff we've heard at Madlanga Commission and the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department, torture, bodies in the dam and all that kind of thing, no wonder they ducked and ran off. But in all seriousness, though, on a daily basis, you watch these delivery bike riders and they are so reckless. They go through traffic lights when they're red. They'll drive on pavements. They're just a menace on the road, to be honest, So what is the issue with these guys? Is it the business model? So is it because they have to make these deliveries in a certain time to get to the customers? Is it because if they can complete as many deliveries as they can in a day, it ups their earning potential? Or what else it could be? But something has to be done. Either the retailers or the management company that looks after these guys has to take responsibility, because it's just getting worse and worse, and there are so many more delivery bike riders on the roads every single day. So who is the worst? Which company has the worst drivers? And what do you guys think is the issue with, why they're always in a rush and going through traffic lights, etc., etc.?
So here's an unpopular opinion. Many of these drivers, as you well know, are not South African. So one of the questions you have to ask is how many are documented? How many even have licenses for the vehicles they are driving? We all appreciate a fast delivery, but my goodness, as a motorist, as a road user, they can be a menace. What's your experience with these delivery scooters? Do you think all of them are licensed? Never mind documented? Let's talk.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Amo?
Bongani, the delays on the M2 East are being caused by an accident right near Reuven Road. Delays from Heidelberg Road. Do expect about a 15-minute hold up there, heading towards areas like Germiston as well as Bedford View. While traveling on the Mark 1 South, we've got some delays between Glenhoe Road and Houghton Drive. Please be on the lookout there. More updates coming up. Do stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like a businesswoman on the way to the airport after sleeping through her alarm. Bags in the back, boarding pass on the dashboard. She prays she'll make her flight.
Hope I make it.
The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic. It's the potential closing of a big deal. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005. In proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
702 Feedback
with Rupfiwa Kone. Right, Rupfiwa Kone in the hot seat. Do you have a favorite Christmas album?
Bongani, my favorite Christmas album that Amo was laughing at right now is Christmas with Rebecca and Friends.
And Friends. And how does it go?
It came out in 2023, Bongani. It had multiple 2003, Bongani. Guys, don't laugh. My father, I'll tell you a story about this. My father, my late father, used to play this album when we were driving at the back of our 1400 bakkie, and he had these loud speakers inside the bakkie, and he would blast that music so loud, and we would hear this album throughout.
You want to sing a little bit?
Well, Amo was laughing at me, so I wouldn't want to try.
All the people on YouTube would have seen you singing earlier.
Let's not do that right now.
Let's not do that.
Let's not.
You're here to work, to be serious. You're a serious producer. What
Bongani.
feedback do you have? Quickly.
Oh, Bongani, listeners are reacting strongly to the question you asked about the renewal of the ANC, and the overwhelming response is no, no, no. Please let's let the ANC go. People are saying they're tired of hearing the same promises. They feel the ANC has failed to transform the country at the level of dignity they had essentially hoped for in 1994. Some are even predicting that the ANC might even drop in the
Even
next
more.
Elections to just under 30%. So that's the stance of many of the listeners when it comes to the ANC.
What if party surprises everybody? You just never know, do you? It's time for the latest Eyewitness News.
This is EWN.
The Basic Education Department flags a breach in the matric exam marking process, and Menzi Simelane takes the hot seat as he attempts to return to the NPA. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Basic Education Minister Siviwe Kwagube is expected to shed more light on a breach in the matric exam marking process today. The department confirmed the integrity breach yesterday. The issue was picked up through the department's quality control and monitoring systems. Minister spokesperson Terence Khala.
Minister Siviwe Kwagube is set to address an urgent media briefing to discuss marking developments as they pertain to the 2025 National Senior Certificate Examinations.
The panel interviewing candidates for the National Director of Public Prosecutions is today expected to hear from a candidate who once held the position. Advocate Menzi Simelane is among 6 contenders being interviewed for the top prosecutor job. His nomination has caused outrage as his previous appointment to the role by former President Jacob Zuma was ruled invalid. The DA yesterday slapped the panel with a letter threatening to interdict the interviews. Khomoso Modise reports.
At the heart of the DA's objection is the nomination of Advocate Menzi Simelane as one of the candidates to be considered for the top prosecutor job at the NPA. In its letter to the advisory panel, the party says Simelane's shortlisting alone renders the entire process irrational, unlawful and unconstitutional. But Justice Minister Mamoloko Kubai, who's the chair of the panel, dismissed the DA's concerns as having no merit.
I will not go into detail because we do believe that this is self-inflicted agency, but also there are no merit on it because we have not shortlisted. So the lawyers will respond to the attorneys and the DA.
Today, Simelane will be the last candidate to appear before the panel. Before him, the panel will interview Advocate Xolisile Khanyile, former director of the Financial Intelligence Center, and Advocate Harmion Kronya, former investigating directorate head. Khomoso Modise, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
Cooperative Governance Minister Velenkosini Hlabisa has expressed difficulty with pinning down a date for the local government elections, saying each of the 3 available months each pose their own problem. The minister has the prerogative to determine the local government election date, but he will consult the Electoral Commission and the presidency. Local government elections are held 90 days after the previous election dates, the 1st of November 2021, meaning the window for the upcoming polls is from the 2nd of November 2026 to the 30th of January 2027. At a media briefing in Centurion yesterday, Hlabisa said that November interferes with the academic calendar. The whole of December and January are difficult because many people would be traveling away from their voting stations.
It's a difficult time upon which a date must be considered. That is why I indicated all the departments involved with which we are doing the consultation to ensure that we arrive on a date that will not be a difficult one from any sector of our community.
And Amnesty International has accused Hamas and other Palestinian armed groups for the first time of crimes against humanity during and after the October 7 attack that sparked the latest war in Gaza. Amnesty says that the mass killing of civilians on the 7th of October amounted to the crime against humanity and extermination. The rights group has also accused Israel of committing genocide in its brutal bombing and other attacks in Gaza. Amnesty says that Hamas and other Palestinian armed groups in the Strip continue to commit violations and crimes under international law in their holding and mistreatment of hostages. Gold is trading at $4,216.82 an ounce. The rand is at 16.96 1986 to the dollar, 22.68 to the pound, 1983 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $62.14 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident reported on the M2 East. It's right near Reuven Road. Delays from Heidelberg Road. There's also queuing traffic on the M1 South between Glenhove Road and the Killarney Bends.
And in your sport, Manchester City shock Real Madrid 2-1 at the Bernabeu, while Arsenal's unbeaten run in the Champions League continues. Bafana's international players will only be released by their clubs on Monday, according to FIFA. Proteas women 30-20 with Ireland rained out, but they still win the series 2-0. While the men play India in a second T20 starting later this afternoon.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 25 and 27 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Basic Education Minister Siviwe Kwagube is this morning expected to shed more light on a breach in the matric exam marking process.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
6 minutes after 8 o'clock, I keep asking you, would you survive an interview, a job interview? Yes, you've had a good career, solid career so far, but your CV published in national newspapers, on websites, and then you're being questioned about every detail on that CV. Could you stand up to the scrutiny that we have seen on that panel interviewing candidates for the National Director of Public Prosecutions? Wouldn't you like to see something similar? I don't know, for somebody who wants to be president. I mean, surely the president is the most important job in public life. Am I wrong?
No,
Commander
you're right.
in Chief.
Definitely.
Why shouldn't we add one more layer? Yes, the voters get to vote, right? The voters get to vote for whichever party. I'm not saying change that. I'm not saying change the electoral system. But couldn't we add one more step, right? That now the leading contenders, say the top three, we're shortlisted to three. The parties with the three highest number of votes. Does that make sense? The three parties with the highest number of votes. They put their candidates on a panel, and the members of parliament, who must now vote for them officially in the parliamentary process to become president, grill them. And then they must explain to us voters why they chose the people they chose. Because there's that step, right? It's a mere formality, but wouldn't it be nice?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
We spoke to a DA councillor in the city of Johannesburg about the millions spent on private security, whilst many of the city's properties are often exposed to criminal syndicates. A particular example is that old Civic Centre building in Braamfontein, which had to be evacuated because it was structurally unsafe. Vandals have gone in there. They've stolen copper. I mean, remember the old bus rotunda in Braamfontein? It had that beautiful dome, which was completely gutted. It used to be, there were coffee shops there. It was a state-of-the-art bus rotunda. It was completely gutted, copper theft. We spend millions on private security guards. We've got those employed by the municipality, by the city as well, the metro, I should rather say. So why is it happening? Who stands to benefit? You can see how if you have to go via emergency regulations, Mateo, because, if we don't, they're going to continue and it's going to get worse. So we don't have to keep it to open tender. We just have to give it to AMO because, it's an emergency. And we allow the vandals to come in so we can keep pointing as to why it's an emergency. See how it works, eh?
Yep.
We also told you about the suspect. That's all we knew about him. Right? Until the last couple of days? He was just known as the suspect. Beaten and tortured by Metro Police officials. Marius van der Merwe, who was brutally killed last week, also implicating himself, certainly in the disposal of the body. Since 2022, the family had no answers. They knew that a blunt force trauma wound is what killed him, but who did it and why, they didn't know. We've got Anonymous on the line, and Anonymous, when you heard us talk about this a little earlier, you wanted to close some loops for us as well. You knew Emmanuel, did you?
I did. Good morning, Bongani. I knew him. Well, I last saw him about 2 decades ago because we worked together for a collections company, believe it or not. And I tell you, he was the modern day Robin Hood of his time. Yeah, a very nice guy, very calm, very good, demure, well poised. You would not say he's a criminal by any stretch of the imagination. A nice guy, Emmanuel. Yes,
So-
Emmanuel Mbense.
When you heard about his demise, did you know that they were talking about him? How did you connect the dots?
What I know is Mbense is not a common surname, you know. And when I heard it yesterday on John Tolman's show, I sort of like thought, man, I wonder, are they not talking about Emmanuel Mbense because of the surname? And through to, at the end of the interview with Barry Bateman, John Tolman said his name, Emmanuel Mbense. Then I read up on the story, and I saw a picture of Emmanuel there. He had a nickname by the name of Goody. And he always had his own little, almost call it like his go-to guy that does all his work for him. His name was Doomy. That was his name, yeah. He used to smoke John Player Special, Emmanuel Mbense, yes. Yeah, very nice guy, man. Out of this world.
When
Yes.
you say he was a modern Robin Hood, what do you mean?
I'm not gonna. I don't want to go into the detail, Bongani, because he had his own fleet of cars within the company yard. How he got those cars. It's a story for another day.
It's a story for another day. Look, doesn't
Yeah,
matter
he
what
wasn't-
people have been accused of doing. Nobody
Yeah.
deserves to die in the way that he did.
No. His family, I think his wife's name was Lorraine, if I remember correctly. But his family is also taxi owners. He comes from a family of taxi owners. He resided in Diepkloof the time when we were sort of colleague friends, you know. My
Yeah.
parents were very fond of him. I'm originally from Eldorado Park. My parents, because he in and outed in my family's businesses. Very, very nice guy. I didn't foresee he would die the way he did. Terrible.
All right.
Nobody deserves that.
Nobody indeed. Appreciate that call. Anonymous calling us in from Johannesburg.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Morning, 702 team. This is Mboneng. These guys are a menace in the roads. In August this year, I got bound by one of them. It was a Uber driver. He got bumped into me and then my car was damaged. Then I had to contact insurance. And unfortunately, the insurance couldn't even get hold of this guy so that I can be reimbursed for the amount that I had to pay as an excess relating to the damages I got. So these guys are really a menace. Even though they help in terms of doing deliveries for us, but they are a menace on the roads. Thank you.
Hi, Bongani and team. Anonymous here. This is a tough one about scooters and everything. Twice I've been involved in an accident with them, and they just go away. And again, there's a courier company around Kaya Sense. You know, you must see these guys small with bakkies going down Malubong and up Malubongwe. You won't like it. They've become a menace as well. It's too hard, to drive on Malubongwe when these guys are from their depot. They just cut corners and all those things through traffic lights as well.
Yeah, I mean, we all want the fast deliveries, right? We want our items now. Under an hour. Quick sticks. Until you're a motorist using the road or a pedestrian and they're trying to get to deliver that, whatever it may be, quick sticks. What are your thoughts? What's your experience with the delivery scooters? Mateo, you've got a smile on your face. I'm not convinced all of these guys have licenses. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not either. But I also think there is a lot of pressure from the delivery side of things because I've seen them take risks on the road, and I'm like, that robot was red. Why would you do something like that? Yes, on the other end, there's a consumer waiting for a package. But when you
Rushing for tips?
no, I don't think that is because you pay the tip ahead of the time.
No, just to make another order so that they drop off and then
I
they
think
can...
it's the accumulation of orders
Mm.
during the day that gets you some sort of strong commission or something. But something is making them take the risk because it just doesn't make sense. Every week, at least once a week, I'll see one on the side of the road or somebody has bumped someone. And I'm just like, no, there's a pressure point for these guys. There must be something going on.
What are your thoughts? If you're a regular road user, what has your experience been of the delivery scooters? I think there is a pressure point. I would agree with you. But I wonder. I sometimes wonder. But I'm as guilty as anybody. I do want my delivery.
Good morning, Bongani. Hope you're good. Bongani, it's a combination of reasons for the bike drivers being reckless. The first is, yes, the more deliveries they make, the more money they can make. But I believe more than that, they think that the rules don't apply to them. They do not stop at stop signs. They don't stop at robots. They go on the side. They cut through. It's a mess. I've been hit by them twice so far. And in both times, the guy had jumped a red robot. So I think that it's because they think that because they are a bike, the rules don't necessarily apply to them. Maybe they think they are a bicycle or something, but yeah, I've experienced them in the most horrible way. They've hit me twice. Hector in Madrid.
Hey, Bongos and team. Yo, Checkers 6060 guys. My goodness. Yo, the worst ever. I've seen these guys go off-road and I'm thinking, do these scooters have that capability of going off-road? I've seen them on the freeway. Are they licensed or allowed to drive on the freeway? And then they go on the yellow lane on top of that. No. Checkers 6060 really needs to do something because a lot of the accidents I see is from Checkers 6060 guys.
Bongani Kabazela, the delivery bikes are a problem. I think I'm honestly starting to think that these guys are in a wrong field. They could be making a lot more money for the stunts they're pulling for those Red Bull competitions. It is crazy. Like the moment you thought you've seen the worst, they keep on proving that you ain't seen nothing yet.
Wow. The shade. 702 land and the shade. Let's just enter into a competition once and for all. Move away, Brad Binder, right?
So they stunt riders.
Brad Binder for who?
Oh, wow.
I love the shade. Look, I mean, if you've been hit twice by them, as one of those voice notes suggests, you would be unhappy. And I wonder if there's some responsibility on the various retailers in terms of the pressure the drivers are placed under. But at the same time, I will be the first to concede, like any consumer, I want my deliveries as quickly as I've ordered them.
EWN Traffic.
19 after 8, let's catch up with Amo on the roads. How busy has this Thursday been?
Not that hectic, Bongani. Do take into account that most schools are officially closed,
Yes, of course.
from yesterday on. And so the delays on the roads are not that hectic. But at this particular moment, if you're traveling on the M1 South, delays between Glenhove and Houghton Drive, as well as on the M2 East, an accident reported along this route before Reuven Road. Delays from Heidelberg Road, about a 15-minute hold up. So if you're heading towards Germiston, please try to use Albertina Sisulu Road through the Kilulis interchange. And then in the city of Tshwane, delays on the N1 South between Linwood Road and the Flying Saucer interchange due to that accident near Rigel Avenue. I'll have more updates. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Naked people never skip leg day. Because naked people spend less time on insurance admin, they've got more time for lunges and Romanian deadlifts. With Naked, you can cover your car, home, and stuff in seconds. And it's all online, so that means no long phone calls. Go to naked.insure now, get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds, and start working out like naked people. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Your uncle says buy the other brand. He also still uses a Hotmail address. You do you. You do Mini. The Mini Countryman. Available from 9,899 Rand per month with Mini Select Finance. Visit mini.co.za to book your test drive. Select offer only available from Mini Financial Services, a division of BMW Financial Services South Africa Pty Limited, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. Offer exclusively applies to the Mini Countryman. Initiation and service fee apply. Offer linked to the current prime rate. Calculated on a 10% deposit, 48 monthly installments, final GFV payment, and 80,000 kilometer contract limit. Changes to the deal and optional extras will impact finance offer. Offer valid until 31 December. Subject to stock availability. T's and C's apply.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
The Financial Sector Conduct Authority finally issuing fines of more than 2 billion rand on the trading platform Bankso. It's been found guilty of lying to clients, misappropriating funds, promising unrealistic returns.
Most of the consumers, they're looking for investments that yield a better return, that give a higher interest rate. So that's where we are gullible. Now, these scammers will take opportunity of such behavior.
Eunice Sabia is an independent financial trainer and coach.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show, Stephen Curtis, is brought to you by ABSA CIB. Invested in your story because your story matters. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702. The World View
with Adam Gilchrist.
Let's look at news from elsewhere in the world. We're used to Somali pirates, perhaps, Adam, but if you're Venezuelan, now you have to deal with American pirates. At least that's their perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. They've accused American armed forces of basically stealing an oil tanker, an act of international piracy is how the Venezuelan president Nicolas Maduro put it. America says they seized a tanker that was carrying illegal sanctioned oil from Venezuela and Iran. I don't know if they just threw Iran in to make it sound better, but anyway, why would the two oils be in the same tanker? But anyway, they have certainly seized it, a boat called the Skipper, confirmed by Donald Trump in the White House. And then everyone's thinking, well, what does this mean? Where does it go from here? Venezuela, which has the world's largest oil reserves, has said that they will not become an oil colony of America. Is that what this is about? Is it really just about, or is this genuinely the United States enforcing sanctions and enforcing international law? It's a hefty one. It certainly ramps up the operation. Already we know that there's an aircraft carrier and a huge task force in the Caribbean, supposedly to sort out the drug boats, the narco boats heading their way. But you know what? There are also those now talking in America about the problem of Colombia and Mexico. How far could America's military operation go? Now, there's a question.
Yeah, we can talk about international law, except to remember that those sanctions were imposed by the Americans. So we'll tell you whom you can't sell your oil to. And if you do, we'll seize your tankers. Thank you very much. Now, let's go to another part of the world. Adam, talk to me about being frozen to death on a mountain.
In Austria, yes, in this case, so we have a guy who's facing a charge of manslaughter by gross negligence for the fact that he abandoned his girlfriend on a mountain. I suppose the word abandoned is rather emotive here. He left his girlfriend on a mountain to seek help. Thomas Plamberger and his girlfriend, Kirsten Gunther, they were climbing Austria's highest mountain, Großglockner, when night fell, and so did the temperature, and with wind chill, etc., it was hitting -20. She was exhausted and disorientated. She was not an experienced climber, unlike him. So he thought, you know what? I can't get her down to the bottom of the mountain in darkness. So he decided to leave her behind and find search and rescue. Now there's a court case pending. Prosecutors argue it was negligent homicide. They say Plamberger is an experienced climber, but was ill prepared for the climb, that he didn't leave her in a wind-sheltered place. He didn't leave her with any proper blanket or sleeping bag or insulation. He didn't alert emergency services soon enough, is their claim. And he also shouldn't have done the climb anyway, so late in the day when it was dusk and with night falling, etc., etc. It's not yet gone to court, but my word, this is going to be a very passionate and difficult court case, I would suggest.
And I'd imagine there'll be much debate about it. I'm not sure he's got a very strong case as the responsible guide, I'm afraid. Now, Adam, how punctual are you?
Well, I usually turn up on time. I'm on time now, more or less. How punctual are you? And are you too punctual?
I heard that.
Yeah. We have, in this case, we have a Spanish woman who's taken punctuality to extremes. She kept turning up at work in an office job, but she kept turning up at work before 7 a.m. when her job officially began at 7:30. So she's turning up 30 to 45 minutes early almost every day. It sounds 100% fine. Look, there's an employee and she's keen and she's early. Her boss didn't see it like that. He lost patience. He kept warning her, stop turning up early. It's not helping. You're not contributing to the firm. So she has been sacked for serious misconduct for essentially ignoring the boss's instructions. It's gone to court. A court in Alicante in Spain has ruled with the boss that the woman's refusal to obey workplace rules was a serious breach of the Spanish Workers' Statute, Article 54, no less. The court says it wasn't her excessive punctuality, but the fact that it was a pattern of disloyalty. Oh my word, how many bosses right now are thinking, would that I had an employee turn up half an hour early? Not in Spain.
Imagine being told by Spanish bosses, you're a little too nice to the customers. Stop being nice to the customers. Presumably,
like that, yes.
that would be a dismissible offense as well. Adam Gilchrist, we'll leave it there for this morning's Worldview.
EWN Business.
27 after 8, right on time is Muteo Juaripe. The Rand looking pretty good. Are we on course for 1652 by April?
You're very
I
ambitious.
think that's such a clever joke.
Yeah, I know. You're very ambitious. Nonetheless, 1652. The Rand hit 16 Rand 91 cents on Wednesday after the US Fed shaved the base rate by 0.25%. Wall Street stocks rose and the dollar retreated a little bit after that decision. The Fed cut interest rates again as it seeks to shore up a vulnerable U.S. labor market. The central bank's Federal Open Committee lowered its key overnight borrowing rate, which now ranges between 3.5% and 3.75%. The rate cut was expected, but stocks had been under pressure in recent days, in part due to speculation that the Fed would pause cuts come 2026. But market watchers read Fed Chair Jerome Powell's emphasis on the job market as a sign that more cuts will come next year. President Donald Trump, of course, is expected to replace Jerome Powell in May of 2026 with a candidate that will produce deeper rate cuts.
All right, so 1652, we're aiming for the Jan van Riebeck price. But do you know that 1691 is the Simon van der Stel price? Because that's when Simon van der Stel became governor.
I did not know that.
So we've got the Simon van der Stel price. Talking about other things.
On a roll, eh?
Famous brands, they're expanding.
Yeah, another South African brand is looking for new markets. Fast food giant Famous Brands is taking a big step into Asia. The company is set to open its first combined Steers and Debonair's Pizza restaurant in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. This marks the start of a long-term partnership with Mesra Retail and Cafe, a subsidiary of Petronas Bahad, which has exclusive rights to roll out these brands across Malaysia. Famous Brands is looking to grow its presence beyond South Africa amid mixed conditions back here at home. It says Mesra brings local expertise and a strong presence, making it an ideal partner for this deal. The Malaysian fast food market is seen as competitive but has growth potential due to a culture of eating out and upper middle income demographic.
So, where's the Rand? Do we still have a Stellenbosch price?
1697. Against the dollar this morning. 19 Rand 83 against the euro and 22 Rand 67 cents against the British pound. Price of gold $4,209 an ounce, while platinum is at $1,659. Brent crude at $61.90 a barrel. That's your business for this morning. Stephen Grotes will cover business later this afternoon.
Time now for your latest Eyewitness News. Don't forget, in this next half an hour, we'll be speaking to Sfiso Dlangamandla, who is the Melwane Festival organizer. That returns to Soweto. Music, art, and township culture. In the meantime, Sfiso Zulu, what you got?
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. Basic Education Minister Siviwe Gwachube is this morning expected to shed more light on a breach in the matric exam marking paper process. And the department confirmed yesterday that the integrity of the breach, the issue was picked up through the department's quality control and monitoring systems. Minister spokesperson Terence Kala.
Minister Siviwe Gwachube is set to address an urgent media briefing to discuss marking developments as they pertain to the 2025 National Senior Certificate Examinations.
The Gauteng Human Settlements Department has raised alarm over a growing syndicate. Scammers are believed to be demanding money from unsuspecting residents in exchange for RDP houses. The department says these scams appear to be on the rise ahead of the festive season. Alfara Mushwana takes a look.
The scammers have been impersonating officials from the Gauteng Human Settlements Department and offering subsidized housing in exchange for money. The department has urged residents to remain aware that it does not charge any fee for processing housing applications, providing land or allocating RDP houses. Spokesperson Tahir Sima says the scammers have been contacting people through social media or phone calls and making a range of bogus offers.
Criminal syndicates behind fake land sales or house allocation notices will face legal consequences. If you occupy yourself illegally, you risk eviction and being criminally charged.
He says residents should avoid sharing their ID numbers, banking details, or sending money to unverified individuals. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
And Venezuela's top opposition leader, Maria Corina Machado, has emerged from hiding, making her first public appearance in almost a year after winning the Nobel Peace Prize. Machado, who won the Nobel for challenging Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's grip on power, did not arrive in Norway in time for yesterday's prize ceremony, but she made it to the Norwegian capital hours later and went straight to see her family. Machado, who has been living in hiding, was last seen in public earlier in January when she protested Maduro's inauguration for his third term. Partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures are at lows of 14 and 16 degrees, peaking at highs between 25 and 27.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident in the city of Tshwane, right near Rigel Avenue, delays from Linwood Road. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 South, leaving Midrand between Allendale Road and the Baklu interchange.
The top story this hour, Basic Education Minister Siviwe Gwachube is expected to shed more light on a breach in the matric exam marking process.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
Why is this so important that we get the right person for the job of NDPP?
Well, as we can see with the Mdlanga Commission, our criminal justice system is in deep, deep trouble. At the heart of all of this is the rule of law, which is fundamental for our society to protect human rights and for economic growth reasons. This is a key institution. When it comes to grand corruption cases, the NPA has been singularly unsuccessful.
Anne Bernstein.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
It's been a long year of, I hope this email finds you well. One long year of loop backs, circle backs, going back to the drawing board, touching base, pushing the envelope, taking things offline and thinking outside the box. Thank goodness, AV's 4 for 3 is here. For vacays, bakeys, imicimbi, nemikiti and weddings. If you book a car for a minimum of 4 days, you'll only pay for 3. Plus, if it's a Group A car, you get upgraded to a stylish Group B car so you can really get into the vibe. Visit avis.co.za for bookings. Terms and conditions apply.
At Auto & General, we understand your business is built on more than just vehicles. It's your stock, tools and equipment, and the premises where you work. Auto & General Business Insurance is designed for businesses like yours, protecting your assets against fire, theft, storms, and other unexpected events. To protect your livelihood, visit autogen.co.za and get an obligation-free business insurance quote. Auto & General, never not there. Auto & General is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Speaking about delivery bike riders, I think another big problem is that a lot of those riders are renting their bikes from a rental company, which doesn't cover maintenance. I don't think a lot of them check if the bike riders have licenses. all of it's sort of outsourced from the retailers and delivery services that you buy the products from. So while I agree that they ride very recklessly and they are dangerous in traffic, I also think that they aren't protected and taken care of like a fleet of cars would be. A fleet of delivery cars for a company have a lot more maintenance and oversight on them than these bikes do. And I think that's something that we should change for their safety and for ours.
Good morning. Regarding these delivery bikes, it is unacceptable. Their conduct and the manner in which they drive and their reckless nature is unacceptable. And as a consumer who wants your items now, you must remember you're going to potentially be the same victim of them driving into you, making you pay this excess. Because really, who cares if it gets to you in an hour and 2 minutes? Because going through that red robot is only saving 2 minutes, 1 minute, not even that. And that's what people need to understand. It doesn't save half an hour. So I think the retailers need to step in and they need to start being held responsible for the conduct of these delivery bikes. The Mr. Deliveries, the Checkers 6060s, they need to start being held responsible. They need to train for safety and they need to minimize the incidents that are on the road and take full responsibility for that.
Morning, Bongani. These scooter guys, it's not that they're in a rush or something. These people don't have licenses. I have an experience of 3 occasions where we wanted their licenses. They didn't have, so they don't know the road rules. Some of them, they even run away from traffic cops when they stop them. You should see when there's a roadblock that they run away, like literally run away. Kaiser from Pretoria.
Hi, good morning, Bongs. So if these companies are employing undocumented foreigners, like I don't want to mention them, but that means they are sending criminals to your house to deliver your groceries. They don't know this guy's background from above, so he could be a pedophile. He could be a serial rapist from his country. Now you have employed him and sent him to my house where I will be opening my gate to receive goods from them. It's not right.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a stretch. I'm not quite sure how the retailer is going to find out what sexual offenses, if any, a driver or any other employee could have committed if it's not, say, on the offenses register. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. What prompted the conversation, of course, with Kabazela was exactly what Kaiser from Pretoria was saying, that these guys often will run away. That's exactly the video that started this whole conversation. You see it, and Kabazela has just posted it. You can follow him at John O'Loud. You see the scooter driver being chased down by police officers, and eventually they block him off the road, and he gets off the bike and he just starts sprinting. Now, there could be any number of reasons for that, one of which I suspect is that they probably don't have the correct documentation. That then leads you to questions about driver's licenses and rules of the road in South Africa as they are to be observed. I do think there's an important point about at least the retailers taking some responsibility for how these bike drivers ride on the roads. And maybe there's got to be some way of monitoring, right, how they ride their scooter. And I don't know what that way might be. Perhaps there could be something there. I don't think that customers necessarily pressure the delivery guys to say, why didn't you come here 5 minutes sooner? I think we have an expectation that, you know, if somebody says they'll give you your order within the hour, then you will get it within the hour. I think that's an expectation based on the promise of the retailer, but I don't think customers necessarily berate drivers for why they weren't there 5 minutes. So I'm not sure you can place that on the door of the customers. There is an expectation, yes, because we've been made that promise. But can that promise be delivered in a responsible way? That's perhaps the conversation we're trying to have.
There's more EW.
And KG Scooter. Just fell apart there. Hey, Cindy. He just skipped a red road.
Panic on his face.
Shame, poor thing. Listen, talking about panic, hopefully the Proteas men and our batting won't have the same expression as KG just had 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, let's hope they can turn this one around, or at least put in a better performance than what they did. The first T20, they lost to India by 101 runs, not looking good with less than 8 weeks to go to the T20 World Cup. Today's the second T20 at 3:30 this afternoon. India obviously leading the 5-match series 1-0. While the Proteas women's third T20 against Ireland was rained out, but they still won the series 2-0. The ODI series starts Saturday. Captain Laura Wolfart.
Very excited for the series to start. A format we've played a lot of lately, but in saying that, it's a bit of a new look squad compared to what we had at the World Cup. A couple of new bowlers. As a captain, I'll have to chat to them, see what their plans are, and looking forward to seeing the depth that we have within the country. Some youngsters will be getting great opportunities in that series. So I think Ireland are a very good side, and they'll definitely be bouncing back after this series, so we'll have to be at our best.
In Test action, the West Indies 32 for 2 in their second innings, trailing New Zealand by 48 at stumps on day 2 of the second Test. Earlier, New Zealand 278 all out. Bafanas in Pretoria preparing for AFCON before leaving next week. They haven't won AFCON since 1996 and finished third last time. Coach Hugo Brosh.
We have a good team. We have the mentality. So our ambition has to be semi-finals. And if we can achieve that, and with the intensity of the games on AFCON, it will help us again. It will help us again 6 months later in the World Cup to do good.
Bafana's first match is against Angola on the 22nd. Arsenal remains top of the Champions League table, unbeaten after a 3-0 win over Club Brugge. Manchester City came from a goal down to beat Real Madrid 2-1 at the Bernabeu, including a Holland penalty. Holland enjoyed that battle with Rudiger that resulted in the penalty.
After, I think, like 20 seconds, Asensio started to try to push me a little bit. So, of course, I like this, and Rudiger, I respect him a lot. He's an amazing defender and achieved great things. Of course, I like it. It's a tough battle. It's tough to come to Bernabeu. It's really hard. So to win here is amazing, and it really boosts us as a player group and also as a club.
Victory for Benfica, Juventus and Ajax Amsterdam. The rest of the games ended in draws. In Champions Cup trophies, Stormers welcome back 9 Springboks for Saturday's home game with La Rochelle. Salman Murat is happy to have Kobus Reinach and Sasha Feinberger Gomezulu in action.
Obviously played the French. They know exactly what it's all about and all that emotion and everything that goes into a game such as this. And yeah, they really took that role with pride and really guided the team throughout training this week. So really excited to see them preparing for the Stormers.
Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
All right, 18 minutes before 9 o'clock. Let's wrap up the morning's traffic. Amo, what are we looking like?
Oh, Bongani, we've got delays on the M2 East heading towards Germiston. That accident is causing these huge delays, so please be on the lookout there coming out of Heidelberg Road while traveling in on the M1 South. Delays between Corley Drive and the Kilani Bends. Another accident reported there, and there's also slow-moving traffic in the city of Tshwane due to an earlier accident along the N1 South approaching Rigel Avenue. More updates at the top of the hour. Do stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Some numbers bring instant stress, like a speeding fine, another petrol price hike, or that one debit order you forgot about again. But not all numbers bring panic. Some bring calm and actual life-saving support. With 24/7 emergency support and over 300 ambulances, ER24 is there when you need us most. Don't wait for an emergency. See it, say it, save it. 084 124.
Naked people are popular at Bry's because naked people spend less money on insurance premiums. They have more money for T-bone steaks. Go to naked.insure now, get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds, and get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP.
Coming up
on the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
Between 9 and 12 is the Clement Manyatela Show. The man of the hour is here. Good morning to you, Clement. What's on the show today?
On the show today, the 702 open line. We're going to reflect on the interviews for the next NDPP. Do you think it's fair that Andrea Johnson is being held accountable for what happened 17 years ago when she said and became part of the process where her husband ended up being appointed an investigator at the Scorpions? She did recuse herself from the interview with the husband, but she interviewed other panel members. So what if she ranked them low so that her husband is ranked high?
That was the same thing that came up in the ad hoc committee when she appeared. And look, she's going to struggle around the details,
Mm.
right? Because that's the thing that kept coming up and up and up and up and up again. Imagine you being interviewed on national television for this job. Your whole CV.
Yo. And the Minister of
Kusha
Justice.
there, hey, when you were on that channel
Yeah.
on TV.
The Minister of Justice did say that part of the reason why they haven't had a lot of people applying for this job of NDPP is because people are scared of doing those interviews publicly like that.
I can't wait to hear Advocate Menzies Melane's interview.
Yeah.
And I wonder if some of the tough questions here are a foreshadowing of what might come out of that interview.
Yep, and we're going to be paying close attention to that because he's going to be interviewed today. So that's on the open line. And then between 10 and 11 o'clock, we're going to do the hanging out feature. Today I'm hanging out with an incredible artist, Notende Madumo. And then at 11 o'clock, we do our Thursday dialogue. Today we're going to be discussing the so-called woke movement. Is it dead? Are we transitioning as a society to a post-woke era? And what does that mean? We were supposed to have this discussion last week, but Julius Mkwanazi kept us entertained at the committee, so we're back with it today.
Who's your guest?
I'm not sure yet. I've got two guests. I've got two guests who are going to
haven't
be
woken up
debating
yet.
I'll
Just
find
gonna make
out
sure
now.
you're gonna make sure they're awake by the time.
I will.
Clement Mayetta, between 9 and 12.
You can become a victim of a legal problem, wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Selling your car to We Buy Cars is easier than most things, actually. Ready for an offer? Complete the form on webuycars.co.za and you're halfway there. The quickest, easiest way to sell by far. On the hunt for your next ride and your next adventure, We Buy Cars makes it simple to find your match among over 12,000 vehicles. Whether buying or selling, visit We Buy Cars.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Hey, Bubbles. So, in theory, in a working sort of democracy, the process of manifesting and electioneering is a type of interview because there's no necessary guarantee, as we've seen with other top jobs, i.e. the NDTP or the public protector, that this interview process yields any better results. But in a proper sort of election system where it's not a fait accompli that one party will win and therefore their leader becomes, it's a type of interview and at a much more grading level because each of the candidates will have to go to different communities and different sectors and get grilled multiple times on different issues based on different sectors and what they're concerned about. So I think the current system works. The benefit now is that we don't have a one-party system.
Hey, Bongani, good morning, man. Hey, with the interviews, I think Adrian Mop came across nice for me. Okay, maybe not the best, but he came across very well. But I also would like to see Andrea Johnson being removed from IDEC. IDEC is a very powerful arm of fighting crime, and I don't think she's up for it. Bongani, I think she's into politics, that one. So she must be removed. Then the new boss must reshuffle her, dissolve this team, and bring in a new one. That would make life easier for all of us. Kustas.
Yeah, Kustas, except, of course, we've seen this revolving door of personnel and leadership, have we not? In fact, the previous head of the Investigative Directorate is going to be interviewed, I suspect, today, Advocate Hermione Cronier, as part, of course, of the shortlist for the next National Director of Public Prosecutions. So that might be interesting. I simply, and maybe it was a little glib, I made the point that wouldn't it be lovely to see anybody who wants to be president facing a similar kind of process. Now, we know the way our electoral system works, we as voters typically vote for parties, and it's those parties then who would vote for a president based on the majority and the numbers they've got in parliament. It's a formality. But imagine if we just added that one little step. Say that the top three parties and their candidates are then grilled further by MPs. And I take the point of that voice note that voters grill them anyway on the campaign trail. But imagine if you added just that little little step. Right? You want to be president? Let's see you explain some of the things you've said and done in the past. And only then the vote takes place. And even if it's a formality still, but it will be a nice form of accountability, I still think.
702.
This weekend.
The promise is simple, bigger, bolder, and more deeply rooted in the community than ever before. Soweto gearing up for a big cultural weekend as the Melwane Festival returns for an 11th edition, would you believe it, running from the 12th to the 14th of December. Began as a small neighborhood gathering, it's now grown into one of Gauteng's most recognizable township festivals. A vibrant celebration of music, food, fashion, and entrepreneurship. And this year, the excitement just got bigger. The multi-award winning DJ and producer Morda has been added to the lineup, joining stars like Sjava, whom you are hearing there in the background with Umkebo, Monique Bingham, Russell Zuma, along DJ sets from Nikki B, Musical Maestro, and many, many more. Joining us now is festival organizer Sfiso Dlangamandla. Sfiso, this promises to be quite a feast.
Thanks, Bongos. It's one of those. It's going to be bigger and better and bolder.
The 11th edition. My goodness, you blink and you miss it.
You can't miss it. You know, it's the 11th edition of Melwane Festival, which is a community-based festival that started 11 years ago. And our objective is to make sure that we create platforms for aspiring entrepreneurs, businesses, and we take people back to the communities during the festive season.
How has the festival evolved over the years?
Like you said.
Swiss, are you there? We just lost Swiso Dlangamandla. Tell you what, we'll try and reconnect. Just chill with Java for a little bit. Hey, KG. All right, we seem to have found Sfiso. I'm not sure what happened there. We got cut off. You were telling me about the evolution of the Melwane Festival.
Yes, we started the festival very tiny. It was just a gathering of locals and the community. But thanks to the collab with Gauteng Tourism, Joburg Tourism, and South African Tourism, we get to attract people from all corners of South Africa. So the festival has grown from just being a small festival in Gauteng, but it speaks to people across the country.
Listen, often you have an element of art, you have an element, of course, of the music, the coming together, but you also have added entrepreneurship. You open with Abo Mazenzela, the art of starting. Tell me a little bit about why entrepreneurship features so prominently.
It's very important that we build that spirit of entrepreneurship and we don't depend on government to create employment and or employment. So we need to make sure that we nurture that spirit of people doing things for themselves. So for Abomazenzela, we're talking about people that started from scratch with no income, with no backing from anyone. So we've got people like Wandile Zondo, who is the founder of CCs. We've got Ntozi Ntle, which is a lady that started an accessory business about 10 years ago, and it has grown. Both those businesses have grown from being just a small business that was meant to feed a family, but now those businesses feed families. So we want to encourage young people to attend those business sessions so that they can get inspired and they can start their own enterprises.
I mean, it's absolutely fantastic, the idea of carrying a neighborhood theme and family. As the festival grows, I imagine that intimacy, firstly, and even authenticity remains important.
True, Bongs. Makhelwane is community, so you make sure that you stick to that. You don't take the festival to a bigger park, but you maintain the festival in Boka Street, which is a open street where families get to meet people from everywhere. So and it's not about the numbers of people that attend the festival, but the quality of the people that attend the festival, to make sure that you support the small businesses that showcase their products there.
All right, tell me about the Thesis Concept Store.
So Thesis Concept Store is based in Mufulo. They celebrate 20 years of being in business this year. So we collaborated with them to do the opening night, which is happening on the 12th of December. So the opening night obviously will start with the business session, and then later on it will be the opening party, which will be a taste of Makhelwane musically. So you'll get to enjoy a bit of DJs, cocktails, and you can also shop at DCs.
All right, and tell me, are there any sort of transport safety plans people should be thinking about?
We've put all measures in place to ensure people's safety. We've done our job process. We've also brought through Amapanyaza to assist with visibility, and the local police station is aware of the event, and we'll make sure that people's safety is there. In terms of transportation, Uber will be there to make sure that people get to the venue. So I would advise people to Uber instead of drive to the festival. In the past 11 years, we've been safe. We will be safe.
And the theme this year is #WelcomeHome. Give us context to that.
We are aware that there's global issues in terms of South Africa and operating with countries like the US. So what we're trying to do, we want to promote domestic travel. So we want to make sure that people spend time in Soweto, and we make Soweto our home. So Makhelwane is your home this December season.
All right. As I say, the theme, #WelcomeHome. Makhelwane Festival on from the 12th to the 14th of December in Soweto, in Mufulo. Tickets are available at the venue or online. Where?
The tickets are available on Fixer, so people can go buy tickets on Fixer, and I would encourage people to buy online compared to buying at the gate, because the price will be slightly expensive.
And you'll also be guaranteed you have tickets, right? Versus finding it full on the day. Appreciate your time, Sfiso Langamandla. Hopefully we'll chat at the 12th edition, hey?
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, good luck to you. Organizer there of the Makhelwane Festival happening in Mufulo, Soweto this weekend. Now, the reason you don't let people over 50 talk about cool people is they're going to call him Morda. Kanti, it's murder, says KG. Kimang? Murder. No matter. Murder. Who'll be there at the Melwane Festival? I have too much fun at work waiting. That's my problem, in fact. This show is just too much fun. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning, the Friday edition. It's 9 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I am Sfiso Zulu. We start with news just in. Basic Education Minister Siphiwe Kwagube says a breach in the 2025 matric exam marking process has been centered to Gauteng. The department picked up says a breach in the 2025 matric exam marking process has been centered to Gauteng. The department picked up the issue through its quality control and monitoring systems process. Kwagube shared the details of the breach this morning during a press